Hello, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to Israel Doctrines Google Hangout. I'm your host, Carl Albert, and you have now entered into our Hangout. And the title of this one is Polight and Harry Rozenberg, the thievery, the robbery, and the insult to scholarship commentary by Pitt Boss and Israel Doctrine. How you doing, Pitt Boss?
Peace to you, Israel Doctrine. How it goes today.
Man, it's good. It's good. What's popping with you, man? You check this debate out, man.
For sure. I'm 25 in the hole just to do some research. I think I bought a gold pair of tennis shoes.
Yeah. So what you think about it, man? I know the people that heard me speak about it and stuff. So spark it off.
Okay, well, just to get straight to some real quick fundamentals, when I went on to Brother Polight TV, the first thing is this shit was real, niggerish, garbage kind of a thing, the way from the technical aspect, which is kind of important to the people that they want to support this movement. You would think that here we are, 20 debates down the road, and it looked worse than the first. You feel me? So therefore, no money is getting spent into providing a proper service for your money. So the first thing was the link. It kept dropping, and you got to refresh on this this Ustream type of connection, and then it was pretty much gargled sound and shadows. That's pretty much what I got for my bucks. I don't know if I could get a return on my money. I'm sure he probably just gonna re-upload it. I see he was filming with another camera, so maybe he's gonna go ahead and re-upload that and give that away for free, so that the entire people who bought this, might not feel so cheated that they can watch the rerun.
So this is thievery to you, huh? This is robbery. And what about the insult to scholarship? You know what I'm saying?
Well, it was hard to really make out what anybody really had to say. It was like I had a couple of people in the room, who was all kind of like monitoring this computer screen a little bit. And pretty much it was just so difficult to make out that nobody really was even paying attention to what was going on, because, every time you try to clue in, you could hear the crowd scream a little here and a little there. The lighting was ridiculous. The sound was just, like I say, it was kind of muffled. You could get a word in here or there, but for the most part, if you pay your money and you want to see TD Jakes, he gonna at least give you a clear shot, some clear audio, regardless if you like the information or not. He gonna at least let you hear it, you feel me, and see it. So what I could make out from the scholarship, it was pretty much the same old Sarah Seti type setup where, you just post up a couple of, passages you done ripped from a book or something, and you kind of like turn your back and read it to us. Where this type of, if they calling this scholarship, this just ain't the way it's being done. In most settings in that situation, you would read from your laptop and you would just have the image imposed on the wall behind you. That way you could kind of, continue to look at your crowd or entertain your crowd. And also, if you got something you want to read, it's like you would read from your laptop. They would have your laptop imposed to the screen, and then you would be dealing with some real first level scholarship. At the actual information, I seen nothing new that came out. That nobody hit me with something that I ain't went through on the Amin Ra Squad Facebook page or a Hebrew Israelite Facebook page, or anybody, one of those groups. You can go in there, and I could have got all of that out of a Facebook group.
So what did you think about Harry's approach in the beginning? He came through with the Mason angle, the masonry, the Masonic angle, and was like, are you a part of that? I heard that after the Q&A, doing the Q&A, they was asking Polight about that because he hadn't addressed it the whole time. Same thing with the audio and stuff. I guess Beasley, what's his name, that was reading it. And then Smack, I really don't know what he was doing. So, you know, I question the whole moderator thing. You know, some people try to say, oh, well, they agreed up on the moderator. But did the moderator do his job? Did Beasley do his job? Being on the sideline here watching it from the computer, I'm like you couldn't see shit. So how could you make out who won, who lost, and the things that was going on? You know, can't.
Yeah, well, you know, in the entirety of it, you know, I wasn't really looking for the winner, the loser thing. I was looking to more see how you gonna approach your angle, and you know, if Harry Rosenberg was doing research on Polight and information within the conscious community, he would have definitely had to research every debate that Brother Polight was in, so that he could at least get a context of how he delivers, you know, ways that he liked to approach things, information he has covered, maybe some bogus information he brought forth, anything like that in his research, especially if he had Zion Lex as a research helper there, he would have easily be able to direct him to the videos or let him know, hey, check this out, check that out. So as he kind of brought in his approach, you know, he came in a little scientific. All of that was basic shit for this type of community. It is nobody in this community that don't got that. That's Wikipedia information. That's nothing deep. That he went nowhere that was what I would consider any type of scholarship to a crowd such as what we, you know, quoting the conscious community. This was very basic information, and you would have just been laughable had you just been up there giving a lecture to this group on this particular thing. It just wasn't like, you know, we come in.
I never like to say it's baby knowledge. I mean, the pineal and pineal and the pineal gland with Jacob, you know, talking about calling the place pineal and all of this stuff. Yeah, this is basic, you know, trivial knowledge amongst the conscious community and stuff. But I thought he had a pretty good angle going with that, the Masonic angle, because that stuff do tie back into the Rosicrucian and all of these different things in Rome, and you know, the powers that be that take you into the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers and stuff. I think he tried to incorporate a little bit of what I was talking to David Mark about over there on the interview I gave with him or took with him on the show with Israel Rice, and we talked about should he have got ahead of that stuff, kind of like, you know, even the babies being circumcised and stuff. If he would have got ahead of that just basic ghetto knowledge of what a Jew is and the ugly pictures that you can find out there, because they do it with the Bible and stuff. They'll go to the evilbible.com, this, that, or whatever, and they'll find what somebody else call themselves putting some information down, take that information and then run it at you. You know, like, deal with these people than say it already. So, you know, the Israelite community already was saying it. Harshar and Daniela, me, and different people talked about, you know, well, we ain't those Jewish type people, and that's not our customs in the Torah or the Bible, however you want to say it, to circumcise a child and, you know, suck the foreskin off or do that or whatever. That had been talked about on Facebook, like you said. It was no new information. There was nothing to dazzle people. Harry himself, I mean, did he ever get into that big secret mystery thing he had to bring out that he was saying is gonna daze people so hard? Well, you know, I was watching the debate. I didn't get a chance to see none of this stuff. So even if they really did put something forth, the thievery and the robbery, I think, really need to be talked about, because from what I've seen, Polight flew to Israel. Now, that probably ain't nothing but $1,000 at the most round trip ticket, maybe. I don't know. Never been to Israel. Never purchased a ticket to it. But when you go do that, purchase a ticket to that, and you got an HD camera and everything look good, it's not that good for us in the audience watching it, and your live stream look fuzzy and the sound ain't right and stuff. Why is it these brothers can't produce a good product over that live stream?
Well, Carl, you make a lot of good points in your perspective right there. And just to get back to the aspect of the robbery effect, the reason why it's like you robbed us. And then we'll get into a little bit of this knowledge, how they robbed us with the knowledge. But the first robbery comes from presentation, right? So you pump this up, you tell us this is the great debate. This is where the robbery begins, that you putting on the hype, and you about to sell us this big, debate that you're going to put on. So when the debate really comes on, what do you have? This looks like I'm telling you, from the time I clicked on it, I could have really thought to myself, is that Polight over there trying to set up the camera for the angle and blah, 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 right? This thing looked like shadows and muffled sound. So now if he's over here working on the camera, I don't know what type of camera he's shooting with. Now I could see the camera that Sarnetta had, and because I'm into photography and film, I could spot a camera off the top of my head, and I know that he was shooting with something like a Canon Rebel, maybe a 4 or something like that, which is pretty much a little $400 or $500 camera, right? It takes great shots, great footage, but for this type of thing, this is not the type of camera that you would use in this kind of event if you want to do live streaming. This is the robbery. This is where I'm a $100,000 or $1,000, the amount of money is, and then I'm gonna deliver you a YouTube stream of poor quality, and then we're gonna already get ready to pump up these Moors. Like I got another debate coming for you with Reggie and the Moors, and we're gonna do it again. We're gonna use the same little bullshit cameras and the same effect. There's all kind of people out there, man, having debates and putting it on film, and they don't have no big promotion behind it. And then when you go watch what they're doing, it's a perfect picture. And the question is how, look, it looked to me that they was trying to set the electronics up, 1 minute before the debate is about to start. So, I know he only got a time limit with the room, but, in any technical aspect, you would be there hours before the event, making sure that the sound is proper, that your video shot is clear, and you got all these people worldwide. If they were looking at this worldwide, all they did was turn off their tube as soon as it came on, because you couldn't comprehend who was on stage. I don't know the difference between Polight and Harry Rozenberg. All I see is a shadow.
Yeah, that's the greatest part, man. And you had an international audience with this. Once again, like you said, it was promoted to the UIL crowd. You know what I'm saying? It was promoted to the Jewish crowd, which Harry said we got people in Japan or this, that, and all the different Jewish spots out there in the world, and everybody across America was trying to watch it, and it's like you robbed us of a great experience. You know what I'm saying? But I believe it was done also to take away the fact of what was being talked about and what was being said and everything. So therefore, the experience could only be in the room. If you weren't in the room, you don't get the experience. But at 25, I forget exactly, but to spend this money on this live stream, and it said it was 5.9K people in there. You know what I'm saying? So all these people, 5,900 people come to watch this, and it's garbage. Come on. You could drive Bentleys. You could do this. You could live in Beverly Hills. You could show stacks of money and stuff. And you telling me your production company can't produce a quality live feed? Shit, we got a quality live feed right here. If nothing else, you take 2 plugs, stick them in a computer, and run one easy program when you switch to Harry and switch to Polight, and don't show the whole room. Don't even show the PowerPoint. Just show them so at least could hear them and visualize them when they speak.
Well, E40 had a song back in the days, and one of the lyrics in it was, "Don't buy no $85,000 car before you buy a house," right? In the same aspect, you can't go buy a $3,000 pair of tennis shoes and you got a $500 camera. And that's what you do for a living, is film yourself. If you're going to film yourself, you better have you better have a camera that match your car. You know what I mean?
Not to mention 5, 10 pairs of them type of shoes. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So
So
here we have what you call young money. Young money don't know how to manage money. That's what you call this. This is young money. It ain't big money, it's young money. And young money don't have conception. Yeah, it don't have a conception on how to build, you know, this whole aspect. I mean, I heard a Black Power chant, and, you know, that's rhetoric. When you just yelling Black Power, but you don't execute Black Power in your way of thought and your way of living, then you just call it rhetoric. That's just rhetoric. That's all they put on for us was rhetoric. I literally watched a Wikipedia reading and a YouTube video showing as a debate. And that's what I got. I got a couple of YouTube pictures. I mean, you know, Google pictures. They threw up in a quick fix, and they gave me a Band-Aid on a bleeding wound.
Most definitely. It was sad. I mean, the thing is, I tried to give people the understanding early in the conversation that Polight was not going to stick to the last flyer. If you go on the YouTube channel, you will see that I said, what is the, you know, the rotation of the order of these flyers? And so when you go back also and look at the first public video that Polight made, which I played a little bit of that and talked about it, you know what I'm saying, that he said he wasn't going to go in there on the nigga stuff. He was going in there as a scholar. He was internationally and stuff. And the first thing I hear him say, he started using profanity, like, just because white folks around don't mean we ain't going to keep doing this nigga stuff, so on and so forth. Like I said, he did the, like, I guess we going to start calling this, let's see, scholarship, URL, battle, debate type stuff. Like, how you gonna ask the man a question one day and then go back, play the video, and give an answer to it later? You done set this whole scene up. You haven't dealt with nothing that he presented at the moment. You know, organic, right on the fly. You dealing with everything he said before that, your first round and a good majority of your round playing videos. Now, this is what he did with Zion Lex, and it was kind of accepted at that debate. So he tried to pull it even with Harry, with Sarnetta set him up, asked him the question, then, okay, look, we flow to Israel. Like, wow, that was a great Danny Myers setup. Huh, take the change, shorty. You brothers change. I mean, I don't know. Maybe B-Dot help with that one.
Well, I got money that you won't see Schmack at the next one. I promise you that. I ain't never watched a URL battle and I didn't feel like I was there. You know, Schmack and them definitely know how to film an event. And if you got a man with that caliber and intellect and you ain't utilized none of his knowledge, which was clear that they didn't ask Schmack nothing about how to film an event. You know what I mean? I don't even understand. Maybe he just, you know, Sarnetta went over there and offered him a little check that he felt, hey, you know, I can do that for a little couple hours and let you put my name on this. But he pretty much just downgraded himself. He kind of did what Malik Zulu Shabazz did when he debated Polight. Everybody looked at that like, well, damn, Malik, that's a downgrade. What is you're a national figure going up against a stick figure. This ain't the same. So, you know, it was a cool little debate, but it wasn't on the same caliber. So in the same aspect, Schmack being involved with that wasn't on the same caliber. That's killing his brand. If he do that again in that same fashion, he killed his brand. It ain't all the way dead, it's just wounded.
Yeah, because, I mean, even in LA, Beef 2 rap battle scene looked better than that.
Oh, they had their stuff together.
Film better, quality sound better, and them brothers didn't even have a microphone on them. At least the microphone on the camera could catch the audio. You know what I'm saying? So even if he was gonna do it in a rap battle mode or whatever, why once again did they even talk to Smack and get his input and bring his camera crew? I know he said he's a Pan-African and he want to keep the money in the black family. So Smack crew might be white boys in a sense, and you don't want to pay them, but damn it, you want to capture the moment. how you keep having debates, can't capture the moment live on the live stream for those that want to even record it and keep a record of it. So if something happened, it's a record at least there, because you're a camera guy and stuff. If that card mess up, what's gonna happen to the event?
Well, I mean, definitely, I'm telling you, when you filming for several hours and you got several people that you need to get response from, I mean, you can't do an event like that with less than 3 cameras and consider yourself having a professional event. It's just ridiculous. You got to have crowd response. So you need a camera on the crowd. You need a camera on the main speaker. You might need a camera pointed at that can float and point at the, you know, your opponent, or maybe an expression in the crowd. And then you ready to collect this kind of money. But, you know, to get this kind of money, you know, like I say, I could care less if they make $8 million off their event. That's all good. It's black business, whatever. But if you're gonna make that kind of money, you should at least be giving the audience their money's worth. So, you know, if I see some posts and comments about someone mad that someone got to say something about feeling robbed out of the knowledge, you gave me some YouTube and some couple YouTube videos that probably got, you know, 500,000 views on it already, and you gave me, you know, a couple of Wikipedia pages or whatever that you found, and you don't feel like this is a robbery, like I didn't get no value out of this, then, you know, hey, this he got a good thing going. But I mean, they can't call themselves conscious, and this is what conscious look like. If this was conscious look like, they need to shut up about the Christians.
Yeah, well, my thing is this. How is it you conscious of the community looking at you as a thief and a robber and one that doesn't produce the product that he's selling to the people, and then you go to an international stage and you produce this type of product for this type of money?
Yeah,
because even the people that was there, the people I know from the community that was there that I called and talked to, they was like, yeah, son, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, this is New York. Yeah, son, the audio in there was bad, man. This, that, and the other. I felt bad. You know, I felt like Polight paid the white dude to come in and bow down and this, that, and the other. It's like, damn, you know, shit, the I guess the curtain is closing. I mean, opening, where people can see behind the curtain now. And they see that that this is nothing but a money ripoff, you know, because you're not giving the people what they looking for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So basically, they hyped up. You know, Sonetta TV is the #1 brand channel for the conscious community, and you know, we getting better footage off his iMac, you know, in his living room. You feel me? And then so if your living room look better than the main event, then you really got to take that title away. I mean, there's people out here that's just doing small stuff, and they got idiot. You know, I go watch a Umar Johnson video. He all over the country doing various speakings, and you just got people damn near in the audience with an iPhone look better than that. You know what I mean? So I don't really understand how they not gonna be outraged about this one. And, you know, as they call the Christians at the church sheeples, well, you know, these is conscious sheeples now. They just doing the same thing. They herd into a crowd and they running down the road with this garbage, and they accepting it.
Yeah, so let's look at it, right? With Polight doing this and abusing the people that pay money for live streams and stuff, and said, well, I support him, he a black man, he need to be supported and stuff. But with him abusing this relationship he got with his audience, and Sonetta abusing this relationship, I sell you on this great debate and everything, and then we can't even get it to you on the live stream. Which I know if they go to what's the Alhambra ballroom or however you say that.
Alhambra ballroom.
Yeah, Alhambra. You know, I can't fancy words. They stumble me. So anyway, you know, that's my weakness, my kryptonite. But anyway,
that's your
so, you know, you get this spot, now you can get about 400, 500 people in there, I guess, squeeze or whatever, you know, but the bulk of your money comes from the internet, the people that you sold this live stream to. and you once again got the community thinking you robbing people, that you're taking their money and taking their love and abusing them. Now, what they say about the Sunday churches and stuff, they have fell victim to their own criticism. What the Bible say, judge ye, unless ye judge not, unless ye be judged. And with the judgment you meet other people with, the judgment you gonna get met with. So now they seeing themselves put on trial for what they doing. Because like you say, it ain't a Sunday preacher in the world, even in a little small corner store Sunday church, that can't get a live stream and look better than what he did. You got Divine and his wives and stuff sitting beside the camera talking. So even with the stuff you can hear, you getting them over there talking.
Right. I can hear a side conversation. You know what I mean? This is just straight ridiculous. You just got a bunch of so-called teachers trying to, you know, do what they don't know how to do, and that's film and debate. I mean, I don't understand why you can go get a fancy jersey made that you can put on, and you got your custom-made hat, and you got all your gear, and you're looking like $1 million, and then you're sitting there with a bullshit-ass camera. I just really don't understand. If you have a TV station, this is what you do. This is your main thing, that you just got to go get a Benz before you get a camera. This is ridiculous. But now,
I mean, that's a great point, because it shows how you really don't care about the people that's paying the money.
I mean, he don't even care about his own brand, let alone others. You can't really care about yourself. I mean, you know, let me show you something. This is just on the side. You know, I'm just reaching behind me, man. This is state of the art. This is the 7D. I don't know if you can read that right there. This is a 7D with a $1,000 lens. This camera at the time, you know, maybe a $2,000 camera. It probably fell down to about $1,000 now. And all together, you probably can get this connection for maybe $1,200, right? So that's just one camera that I might just flip out. I'm just doing simple filming. Now, I wouldn't go film an event like that with this camera, even though I own this camera. That's not how you do the game. This is not the way it's played. And as many people as he got around him, as many fans as he got, all these technology people out there, you would think they would type in and he would get some type of assistance. Like I said, you cannot have a man such as Smack down with you and your shit look like shadows and garbled sound. This is ridiculous. Like, I'm sure, I hope Smack go out and do a video about what the hell he was involved with that for. You know what I mean? Like,
I think he needs to hit the chilling circuit and really speak to the people about his involvement, and talk about how, you know, he didn't like the fact that this happened with his name involved in it. You know, now you're accessory to a robbery, Smack.
He the driver. Yeah. He was the driver. So, you know, I mean, he didn't even get to do his thing, though. You know, like, they gave him about 30 seconds. Like he wasn't, you know, that dude or something involved with this. Like, you know, they just didn't give him a moment to do his thing. But hey, you know, he just had.
We don't know. He might have did his thing. We couldn't see it. So let's not prejudge. Maybe the people that have seen him.
Even though I couldn't clearly make it out, I watched Shawnette say, hey, let's get this thing going. They shifted over to Harry Rozenberg, and right before that, you know, he got to come on and say a little something, and it was almost like, hey, we need to get to the debate. We on the clock, you know, we got this place rented out for a certain amount of time. Let's get through it. And you got the same thing you got that made the last event. You just got garbage for your money. And these people are so biased. They so dick riding, trying to get on the game, that there's no intelligent people saying, hey, some of our opposition is making good points. We should take note to our opposition and correct those things if we see we agree. You know what I mean? This is fair criticism. This is not biased to your ideology. This is just fair criticism. You're getting paid. Damn it. Give us what we paid for. What's wrong with that?
Yeah. I mean, if it was Harry Rozenberg producing this, then they'd have been down his throat. They'd have said, "Oh, this white Jew, and he own a beer company, this, that, and the other, and he can't get us no damn live feed. Oh, let's get him." You know, everybody would have been making videos and stuff because they would expect the white man to do better. But I keep telling you, it's white devils and black devils. Just because none of them black and stuff don't mean they get to get away with the shit they just did. Now, if y'all let them do that, then next time they most definitely won't use no petroleum jelly or Vaseline. They just don't give it to you raw. If you from what's that, Brooklyn or whatever, Staten, I don't know what, I forget what that, but if you just like it raw, then you can get it raw. That's what they gonna give you. And you gonna love it and gonna ask for it again. Brother, come on my post like, well, I supported Polight. He a black man. You supported Harry over Polight. I supported the Bible. I supported the biblical Israelite narrative in the Torah over Polight. It just happened that a white man was representing it that day because they won't let blacks represent it. Most definitely on that day one, they weren't gonna let a black represent it because they were selling the black and white clash. You know what I'm saying? So you come tell me you supported Polight, you supported Harry Rozenberg. Who the hell you think paid for him to fly over here from Israel and fly back to Israel? You and your dollar. You think Polight, he won't even come out to buy the camera and stuff to give you the live feed that you paid for. You think he came out of his pocket out of being a good servant to the community and paid for Harry to come back and forth? No, that's the dollar that you spent on the live stream that you didn't even get to see. That supported Harry Rozenberg. He could have flew over here because he, as people say, oh, he got a beer company and stuff, this and that in New York. He could have flew over here on that ticket, took care of his beer business, and just flew home.
So now check this. This about 4 or 5 weeks ago, you dropped the bomb on the gentrification of 125th Street, right? So to get into that a little bit of what you just witnessed is here goes a certain level of caliber from Harry Rozenberg coming into the Alhambra Ballroom with Sinetta TV. After the debate, I'm sure there's nobody on his Israel channel as he was selling the service for $25 on his website who tuned into that or had the live stream to that just couldn't even bear to look at that. So now what will they say? Well, hey, that was ineffective. What we need to do is we need to go set up a stage with the camera and we need to offer them to come over here with us and let's have this debate again and let's do it professional. There goes the gentrification. There goes Sinetta TV out the door. When you thought you was winning, you're losing. Because as soon as somebody comes along and offer a debate platform with proper filming, with proper execution and proper promotion, where it actually gets promoted on certain types of platforms that Jewish people control, which Harry Rozenberg, I'm sure he could ask a few favors in Israel and make it happen. You feel me? To where now maybe they'll offer Sinetta an opportunity to come speak on the mic at the event under his name brand, but he won't control the platform. This is what you call gentrification, where you no longer in control of what you used to own. And this is the heartbreak that's coming, because if these nutballs take another one of them type of events, if I see them pay for Reggie and the Moors, so I can see a bunch of garbled sound and shadows, then you guys is a damn fool. And Sinetta, you the hell of a goddamn hustler. You the hustler of the year. You getting the hustler of the year award. You out here selling that yellow soft for top dollar, for top white flight.
But it's so true. It's so true. Cause see, even with like me, let's just look at my little status in the community, right? I had to get it by interjecting myself in the community. That's all Harry just did. Just like when Basim did it, and don't think we go talk about him with that, right? If you go look up BYK 1011 or Global Media now, you know who faces you're gonna see? All of our faces, nothing but black faces. You know, not a rainbow of people, but black faces. But you know what? Global Media Basim had Harry on there too. So he just put himself in there and inserted himself in this scene with the Harry and stuff. So now when you type in Harry Rozenberg, think what you're going to see. Sinetta TV, Israel Doctrine, Global Media, Smack URL, this and that. When you Google this man's name, these things going to pop up. So that means now he has branded himself amongst our brands. See, y'all not looking at the big picture. And you saying you supported Polight. Nah, you supported Harry Rozenberg and Polight in this alchemy of this marriage that they just brought together. So when you say, oh, Carl, you supported Harry Rozenberg, I supported the Torah and the Israelite narrative within the debate. Harry was over there on that side. Y'all supported Polight them and stuff, but if you paid for the stream, once again, that money went to everybody that was there. Now, I heard Harry Rozenberg had some goons with him, with them things on him.
Come on.
He got paid, if nothing else, to pay his goons off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So somehow or another, your dollar, right, contribute to some white people getting paid. You might as well pay for the Smack's white cameramans. And you would at least got the whole feel and effect of it and didn't have to wait a little while to get it on Sinetta TV or whatever other channel they put it on after the debate over. It was a live stream and it was supposed to be a live feeling and event. Y'all got jerked out of that. And if a Sunday preacher did it to you or a white man did it to you or anybody else outside of these niggas that abusing y'all, they're abusing y'all. So when Polight say, you know, the church is like a woman being abused and then she come back and all of that. You're that woman now and he's your Nasud God and he's abusing y'all and y'all saying, but I love it. But I love it. He loves me.
See, now here you go with another robbery, a little slight to the side. We're going to deal with Titan TV. As Kalim said, hey, I'm going to be in New York City. I'm going to bring you pristine. He described it so smart. I thought I was about to be watching HD 3D TV the way he described it, but he was bringing you in, you know, he's filming for Harry Rozenberg and he's going to give you pristine footage and blah, 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 blah. If this damn debate is sold anywhere for money, it's a triple robbery because that shit they streamed. Sinetta better throw that shit up tomorrow and show us the footage that he was capturing because see, he didn't stream his personal camera. He was just double filming the show. So everybody is thinking, hey, get the dollar. But the dollar is built and putting on a properly filmed event so that we can clearly hear the message of the speakers. You know, if you're going to serve us some, garbage, whatever you're doing, at least let it be clear so we can say, well, you know, hey, that was a good film. You know, that looked like, a real show. So how are you going to be taken serious as a platform and, you putting out shit? You're the worst on the internet. You know what I mean? I can go to 1,000 different YouTube channels where they're somewhere live broadcasting and I get a crisp, clean TV because, technology is just there. You could literally shoot with your iPhone and give me a good view. So,
yeah, well, as you pointed out, Kalim Mel and Harry trying to stream it for free. And they said, nah, you can't stream it for free. You got to put up a link and you got to sell it for $20. So now you got Harry jerking his people once again. All those white Jews that would have paid to watch it, if they did pay and they get net feed from the 2212 Ustream thing they got in that password, then they got jerked too.
Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? Once again, it's a robbery and it's very bad for the black community. Y'all might not think that, but if that was a Jewish production, it wouldn't have been that. Like he said, he would have called a favor for a favor. It would have been some cameramans in there. I don't know why they didn't call YG Preach. And like I said, I see him in his bathroom with his boom thing and he moving and the camera not moving and stuff. He could have been walking on stage, moving and shooting it and stuff. Even if he didn't make it a live stream, he would have had another type of footage and another type of visual to the debate that no other camera would have got because he was there with the equipment to do so. They could have flew him out from Seattle. I thought we was Pan-Africans.
No.
Polight. I thought we was want to help the brothers, Polight.
This is 125th Street domination. That's all you get,
Monopoly, huh?
man. You get.
Monopoly, huh? You got a fucked up monopoly, Sonetta.
Hey, I mean, it's literally so. Let's dip into a little bit more on what I feel. Robbery in the knowledge category, right? So if you go back to analyze the little bit that you could hear, at least from my perspective, I mean, everything they put up. Just to reiterate, this was no knockout blows. You didn't come up in here with no research. You could have got all of that off any Facebook page. I've had Facebook debates deeper than that right there. You feel me? I done seen people post Wikipedia pages deeper than that. So it's like, what the hell was this all about? What was all of this talking about? I'm reading 1,000 books and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. It was really just showboating because it's more money in becoming famous than it is in keeping it real. And that's what you see on 125th Street the day before. You got all of these same faces. So here we got like Fox News. We got to watch the same 10 people every time y'all do something. We don't never hear. The community is vast. This community is so vast, it's ridiculous that you could go out there and get tons of thousands of people to really come in and put some feed into what we call in this conscious levelness. But because you got to keep the narrative in a specific direction and you got to brand your brand, you're only doing what, like you said, Carl, you're doing what you claim the church did. You're doing what every company in Hollywood is doing. They're just branding them. They're getting bigger. This ain't about the people. This is about Polight and them, Sonetta and them, showing off, asking the public why y'all mad we making money. Well, we wouldn't be so mad, but robbery will make you mad. You robbed me for 25.
Yeah. How many of y'all males? I'm gonna go to the males, right? And then I go to the female. How many of you males get mad when you go into a store, do something, and you order something, and you bring it back to your lady, and she like, what the hell is this? They missed this on the. I'm going in there and get my money back. I'm finna woo 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 woo, right? And how many women's they do something like that, and they husband or they man come back, and then they damn near gotta fight them to go and tell the people like, nah, go tell them we want our money back, and we don't like their services. So, like I said, this ain't nothing ideology. This is nothing personal. This is just straight up business. Like as businessman, and I said it before, as businessman in the community looking at Polight like this, like you've been robbing us of our, our paperwork, this and that. How you gonna put on a live event like this and rob people of the live stream and that emotion in that moment and stuff? I watched it and tried to do my best to go through the whole thing so I could talk about it. And people talking to me, and I'm like, man, that shit gave me a headache because it kept falling out and this and that, and I couldn't hear. But I'm struggling along with the live stream to do it. I go to Khalil Mail page. He was live streaming it. Talk of the Titans. A Titans talk, whatever. I go over there, he live streaming it, right? But he's kind of streaming off a stream that's fuzzy and messed up, But if they would have had that other stream from Harry Rozenberg and stuff, then it probably would have been a little better. Then they could have switched over to that and gave it to us in a more clear. Then people probably wouldn't have felt so bad. I wouldn't have felt so bad, But shit, just talking about it, getting these temples worked up like headache. But it is what it is. Like you said, for us information, yes, we have been on Facebooks and groups and different stuff, just as people that deal with the community and stuff, and we didn't copy and paste right there on the spot, faster, quicker, and harder information than that we got at this debate. Man, and we really don't know what all happened because we couldn't hear and see it. My bad. Go ahead.
You couldn't go to 5 minutes of that debate and post me something I ain't seen floating through a Facebook group. This was basic. This shit was so basic that they ought to be ashamed of themselves. I do not understand what type of information Polight said he was going to drop a bomb on, because he may have got in a couple of good, white versus black type of shots. You might have showed a couple of videos from some rabbi who said some outlandish statement, but all that shit's viral videos running around Facebook. It was just ridiculous. Like, damn, did you get them like that? Now, they say you can't knock the hustlers. So in that aspect, hey, these guys, they put on the show and got that money. And I mean, you know, like I say, if it ain't an outrage, if this is supposed to be some type of community thing that they building, and they can't find a way to offer something better than that when they want you to pay, then, you know, for the next event, when Carl Albert go in on you, you might as well just tuck your tail and accept it, because this is ridiculous. This is just not the way that you should be trying to build a conscious community.
Nah. Carl Albert on this Suge Knight. Wait for me to do my event, and then, you know, support this brother, because mine ain't gonna look like that. Like I said, I know websites and stuff where they say they'll send out 2 or 3 cameramans and the people that deals with the actual streaming into the computer and stuff, and they ready. It gonna cost about $1,000 some and stuff to get them. Like I said, it ain't cheap, $1,000, $2,000 depending on the camera. But you know what? Afterwards, you can put it up on a platform, and when you put it up on a platform, just like the brother from LA Beef did, you know what I'm saying? Then people can come and get it for $10 afterwards to, you know, pay per view it, and you can also pay for the live stream, so you can monetize it, you know, either way, and you still gonna get paid. So to put the money and invest the money into capturing the moment,
right?
You know what I'm saying? You don't go to your wedding and a nigga come up there with a old, you know, camera, hit it like that, and the thing come out and you fan it and stuff. And nah, you don't do that. You're not gonna get enough pictures. The pictures ain't gonna look like you want to. You got to go there with a professional camera, 2 or 3, capture all the moments, get everybody together, and capture the moment and immortalize it.
That ain't gonna happen. This was not the great debate. This was the great ripoff. And I don't know. The room looked to have, you know, some people in it. You know what I mean? Everything looked like, hey, it was a great sale. And, you know, I know a few people that was at the event. You know, they hit me up, telling me a little bit about their experience. They didn't come up out of there hooping and hollering about nothing. And they favor the comedic ideology. So,
now,
hey,
let's just say, and I know you might not want to get into it that much, but I want your perspective, right? The Ra Squad said they the vanguard for the community and scholarship and stuff, right? Do you think that they would co-sign that was great scholarship that took place?
I mean,
was that a hustle, as I asked earlier? Was that scholarship or was that a hustle? Because what you're saying now is, shit, I could have got a Wikipedia page. I could have got your average Facebook person or anybody to do that debate, and they probably would have did it better for us, Polight and Harry. It was just to put on the event and get some money from my perspective. No scholarship. So do you think these vanguards?
Yeah, well, see, you know, you had a video up the other day. I kind of read the title. You was talking about Sanetta's holes of consciousness, right? Now, this is not a disrespect to any of them. It's just to say he got you guys in a position where now you can't be you can't give a balanced statement. You can't acknowledge a foul play in the game because you're under contract. So if someone was to come out and be critical as we are being in you know, just having a perspective, you know, Sanetta not about to call you and I to come have a sit down on his couch like that. I mean, he might hit you up a little bit, but nevertheless, if you're not really favoring his position, if he think it's damaging to his image, he's going to shun it. And so therefore, you know, the Ra Squad is in his back pocket. So how much truth can you expect when they have to keep it, you know, cordial? You know, this kind of information is not cordial. It's just blow your top off truth. So, you know, Sanetta should be able to come on and say, yeah, man, that shit was horrible. He should be able to show us 5 minutes of that debate and then analyze that for us in his opinion. And if he don't come back and render that was horrible, and I really, you know, am offended at myself for delivering something at y'all, then, you know, this shit is bullshit. And so, you know, if the Amarat come on and say that's with some goddamn scholarship, they bogus. If they come on and say, hey, you know, I love the debate, they bogus. If they don't come on and say, I couldn't hear a goddamn word of what was going on and all I seen was shadows. If they don't make that determination, then why in the hell would I believe their opinion on what a scholarship is? You're in somebody's pocket. So, I mean, this is just keeping it real. This is just straight up down. You either looking at what everybody else looking at, or, you know, you in somebody's pocket and you want to offend certain people, so you ain't gonna give us the truth. You're gonna give us sugar-coated information. And that's what the conscious community was supposed to be doing outside of the academic world, was taking off the sugar coat and stop painting Egypt white and stuff like that, where you're gonna come with the hard truth, whether it hurts somebody's feelings or not. And this is what they've turned into. They just turned into exactly what they were talking about. And so you can't expect any type of real information or criticism to come from anybody who's a Sinetta, you know, personality.
But that's the whole thing, that when you got this perspective and this perspective, even after the debate, we should be able to sit down and argue and debate it. And if you sound like a damn fool for choosing the crazy ass side, it's like, do y'all hear this fool? Do y'all hear this fool? He said this and he said that, but I'm telling y'all it's this. That in itself is supposed to be a aftermath of the debate. We're supposed to have a debate about the debate. Well, this, that, and the other. So once again, like I said, it was hence made that if any of you Black Hebrew Israelites, any of you Negroes that sided with Harry Rozenberg was siding with him, now that it's over with, we ain't gonna forget and we gonna deal with you. Well, I told you, nigga, put a bull's eye, put me in the middle of the scope, because I was his #1 supporter in the sense of the word, this, that, and the other. And he was foolish to go to all these other platforms and do stuff and not take advice and stuff. But in the sense of y'all word, I was his #1 supporter, because I was in support of the Israelite narrative in the Torah, and will be in support of the Israelite narrative in the Torah to the day I die. Anybody that brings that perspective, I'm gonna be on that side. Now, if they do it in the wrong manner and they don't bring out the right perspective and stuff, I'm gonna have to talk and deal with them on that. But I'm never gonna choose the other side against that. I don't care if they put a Japanese there. I don't care if they put a Martian there, because some of y'all believe in extraterrestrial. I don't care if somebody come from outer space and stand up there on that platform and we know he a fucking alien from outer space, not even human. If a dog get up there and start talking and he got that narrative, I'm gonna be with that mutt up there. You see what I'm saying? Whatever extent you want to take it to, whoever stand up there and represent that Israelite narrative and that Torah, I'm with them.
Yeah,
I can't be against them, because that's my conviction, and I would be less than a fucking man. Like I look at other men that didn't do that because of skin tone. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not that brother once again, y'all. So put the bulls out on me and come after me, so I can put y'all in your proper place about the narrative in the Torah, because that's dealing with our understanding, our Israelite mystery system, and the actual text. And you can't fuck with it. Harry probably fell short, but if you come over here messing with me, I'm gonna show you what it is. And then it's gonna be great dialogue, and we're gonna get people tuning in. And you know what's gonna happen? You're gonna have to kneel down like that white man kneel down before Polight them.
Well, you know, most definitely, it turned into a biased situation. You have the Kemetic Sinetta, the Kemetic Polight, you know, the Batman and Robin team going up against this Jewish Hebrew Israelite claim that he making, and the crowd is pretty much rooting for the Kemetic perspective, which is cool, no problem. You know, let that do what it do. But it, you know, this is why, you know, in the lead up to the debate, and Sinetta going to everybody saying, are you gonna go for Polight, or you riding with the white boy? This was the robbery setup. This was, okay, I'm gonna get your emotions on black and white. This is such simple ideology that, you know, you can't claim this ideology for the conscious community. But this is just the great white hope type of thing, where, You know, you trying to sell a ticket instead of trying to level and rise someone's consciousness and in understanding on whatever information that they have, that we shouldn't be in here rooting for your Kemetic perspective or for this Jewish perspective. We should be in here as intellectual thinkers, wanting to hear someone bring their perspective. Go ahead. I see you got a feeling.
And I had the Southern Israelite, Japhetic bloodline claiming Southern Israelite from Britain, right?
Yes.
He was over here getting in Harry Rozenberg ass saying Polight was going to win the debate, and he wasn't ready for it. So wasn't no bias over here. It's just none of you Negroes from the quote-unquote conscious community that don't fuck with me just didn't have the opportunity to come over here and hear another perspective. And their debate was a whole lot hotter than that, a whole lot emotional driven than that. And it was more than what you got there. And I got it for free. You can come over here and listen to it. It's no visual, it's audio. And if you hear the Southern Israelite and Harry Rozenberg go at it, you will believe that you listened to some shit way better than Sinetta them.
Way better. Way better. It didn't last as long, but it was definitely an intellectual debate. I mean, you know, that type of thing or what they did is just, that did not need to be a big major event. They could have called in from a Google Talk and did that one. And we could have paid you $10 for that. You'd have made way more money because you ain't got to fly nobody in.
That inside other studios.
Man, you could have did it on Google Talk. He could have been broadcasting live from Israel, and Polight could have been on Beverly Hills and, you know, on Highland and Sunset, broadcast. You know, it goes down, but I'm saying, you know, what we wanted to see was, one, we wanted to see that you got your act together and that you was able to deliver us a professional debate, professionally filmed, professionally moderated. You had what's his name? Let me get it how he said. Smack. Smack. You had smack on there. You should have been able to get this thing hyped up. You didn't give that man the type of celebrity status that you was putting him on the middle of the flyer for. You should have gave him an interview leading up to the debate. It should have been a build-up. But, you know, this is where the foolishness of the Kemetic teaching that he has learned is not be able to be implemented. It falls short. You're not going to be able to do it. So the gentrification process. Now, this is where Sinetta can go ahead and fold his dollars and get with that gentrification that he done brought into the game, because, you know, he should be getting a call from Harry Rozenberg this morning telling him how ridiculous this thing looked to the audience and that they need to get their shit together, and he think he got solutions because he was coming with solutions.
That's what it was. Harry Rozenberg came to show the flaws in it, and then he's going to bring the capital and the people in the network in and to give you the solutions to the problems. Because this was a problem. And it's a problem in the Black community that you can't get quality network service from Sinetta TV or any other Negro platform out there. Oh shit!
See, if you go back to R&B, and I'm sure you might think of his name, but there's a particular Jewish guy. You know, he was responsible for signing over all the pop artists, and I believe Bootsy Collins was the first to bite the bullet, and he signed over and got the big white check. And then from there, Motown just fell down and became a ghost town. But from that led into the music industry being controlled by Jewish money. It made for bigger checks. It made for a broader audience. It probably even made better music over time. But from a perspective of Black economics or Pan-African personality or thought, it was a sellout move. And if Sinetta wants to elevate his game, he's at that moment. You could either stop buying Mercedes Benz and alligator shoes, and you can start buying some electronic equipment that would allow you to deliver a better program, or you could sign up with Harry Rozenberg And Harry Rozenberg could be your front man to go ahead and walk into the major studios and say, hey, look, I get the next hot thing that we could control like remotes. And we could put these guys on a better platform and give them a reality show and make them all, you know, ridiculous characters on a wider screen and make a bunch of money. They all got their act together. They all reading books and they just need a platform. Now that means that all of these various personalities got to sign that contract. And now the next up and coming guys with some information at whatever school of thought they're coming from, and they want to get on the bandwagon, the option is, do I want to stay on YouTube as a shadow and muffled sound, or do I want to walk over here to this Jewish platform that's putting us out there on a major level? And the gentrification is in full effect. So that's what they got. They can try to deny it, but time is going to tell. A year from today, that platform will exist.
Well, it's what they done did. Once again, it's the judgment and what they meeting with. When they tell people like me or you or just the average person that ain't kissing their ass, can we get on the platform, and you say no, then you just cut out that whole audience that we bring, because we got audience too. And you're not doing Pan-Africanism, this, that, and the other, and you creating a monopoly. You're muscling on the people. You're a muscle. You bullying them out of being able to do what it is they want to do and make money and what they love to do. So you know what's going to happen to you and what's about to happen from what you suggested and we suggesting here. The white man who has a monopoly on mostly every fucking thing in the world is finna muscle y'all out of your own game that you created. Thank you for allowing my face and my name to be on the Google search engine with Sonetta and stuff. So now when the little black boy type in Sonetta TV on Google and try to see something, you know what's going to pop up? Harry Rozenberg. When they type in smack, you know what's going to pop up? A Harry Rozenberg picture. They're going to start seeing white people. They'll start saying, I see white people in the conscious community.
See, what they'll do is they'll get the flow. You know, like there was these two dancers called the Les Twins, and they had this real robotic, fast-moving, jiggling dance, and then they'll slow it up, slow motion, and then you just unique. You know, two guys out of Europe somewhere, right? They literally came in the game with a new form of dance. And so I recently seen an Asian somewhere in China somewhere dancing exactly like them. And so the person who posted it, I said, well, hey, that's a great culture vulture. He got it down pat. He damn near looked like a black guy doing the same dance. So I threw up the Les Twins video to show them they was doing that 8 years ago. And they invented that style, right? So the way that we put on debates, the type of people who want to hear this nonsense that Sonetta and them throw on you every 3-4 months, all you have to do is create a better platform and a way to deliver it. And Sonetta is out the game overnight, because we could care less about that platform if I could see Sarah Sutton-Sethi going up against some Indian guy from India on a platform. That's better shot, better delivered to me. But I still get to see Sarah Sutton-Sethi or Shaka Utmost or whoever the speaker is, but he's going up against a foreigner. See, once you bring in the foreigners, they got the money and the know-how. So once they give you that money and that know-how, you lose control. They may have an audience of 100,000 or 300,000-400,000 people watching that you can't compete with just the black people. So now once you open that door and they build that platform, and they have a platform called, you know, the conscious whatever, blah, 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 and it look and sound like Sonetta, you got black folks who look hip, look hot, and got a flow coming on doing them kind of
like I said, if they don't realize that Basim already with his new global media platform, since I put BYK 1011 out there, has Killer Hellraiser, a million. Right? Mighty Hebrew. The Hebrews in the hood. My face over there. Other people face over there and stuff. So when they look for us, they can find us on global media, right? Which is platform.
There it is.
Once again, you seeing black people on a white platform over there.
Right.
Then you got Henry Rosen. You see the sprinkle of the color in there with these two individuals just alone. Now, anytime another person from this community go debate a white person or someone of another nationality, and now my face is connected to that white face and they type in my name, they're going to see me talking about the House of Conscience. They're going to see me talking about this. They're going to see me on Debate Talk for You platform, and then they're going to see these white faces moving in. Like when I talked to Dr. Michael Brown, he's a Jew for Jesus. He's a white Jew. So now me and him, if they put that together in the YouTube search engine, now they can create their own platform and their own thing because they're part of the community. But we try to talk to y'all about that, but you know, I'm the stupidest. What's I never say? I'm the dumbest fucking Hebrew he know.
You the lost.
Yeah, I'm the lost.
You the lost.
I'm a lost.
You done lost out.
But it seemed like I found out what's going on. I can at least foresee the checkmate. That's why I told you, Sarnetta, you don't see the checkmate. The goddamn white people and the people that's gonna bully you out of your own game has checkmated you. So were you trying to stop another brother? Think about the powers that be when they stopped you. So
they got a reality show for everything from doing tattoos to making ice cream to living with the midgets. Any concept can instantly become a reality show. Now you don't think if they offering $20,000 a month to be on a reality show, and they gonna call it the Conscious Community, and they gonna come film you at your house and leading up your debate and preparation.
Brother, who's the best person for that? Don't you see Polight trying to do the all access like the Mayweathers and the HBO and stuff?
He tried to do that. He just showed his best shot. He just showed his best shot. He used the $400 camera to bring you a $2 video screen, garbled information, and he had garbled sound and shadows in the background. So if you're gonna give us that, and then you're gonna broadcast live from your Beverly Hills apartment, and that looks crystal clear, then what the hell is going on here? You didn't charge me for that. I'd rather watch that, Polight. Just give me you speaking out the living, out the thing. You could have gave me that, and then Harry Rozenberg could have broadcast from his living room, and I'd rather paid you for that. But for what we got that night, I can guarantee you that won't happen again. If they try that again with the Reggie, they got a new one already laid in the cut for you.
The more it's comedic.
Yeah, that's all you're gonna get for the next 3 weeks is that event now. And the whole enchilada and hip hip hop hooray is about to go all over again. You know what I'm saying? And you're gonna fall into it. You're gonna be online mad because someone has a critique against your ideology or against Sarnetta TV. You got an issue. But then we getting replayed this garbage when we know what's happening. You to open the door and in comes the slaughter. When the money show up, they're gonna put you out of business, Sarnetta. They're gonna put you out of business. Not out of business that you won't exist, but you just gonna work for them. BET is not owned by black folks.
Huh? That's if you choose to bow down when they come to your town. You know what I'm saying?
Don't bow down.
But, like I said, I'm on my Suge Knight, man. If y'all hate what's going on, don't worry about it. Black intelligentsia coming. Summertime coming. I will be in the town near you. I need some debaters. My debate starting off at $1,000 a debater. And you don't get that with Sarnetta. Sankofa, if you still want to make $1,000 and get a debate and get seen, holla at your boy. Because Sarnetta ain't going to put your little weak ass on. As much as you want to kiss his ass and come at me about stuff, nigga, I tried to put some money in your broke ass pocket, so you can take care of those bills that you got to take care of. Lord Abba and the rest of y'all, you know what I'm saying? It's still there. Cause see what we talking about now. I see the vision. You know what I'm saying? So you can get 1,000. Shit, if we do it and do it right, you probably can get 2. You know what I'm saying? You can get paid if you come to Israel Doctrines, Black Intelligentsia, and sign up to get on that platform. Cause I'm gonna do contract with you. You know what I'm saying? but I'm gonna get you paid. And who say Harry might be helping me do it? We ain't gonna say that though. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? We got something going on. There's solutions to the problems, y'all. You know what I'm saying? You can allocate money to take care of certain business when you know the business is worth making money. And with 5,900 people paying for a live stream, then somebody needs to tap into that, right? And put it up there good so it can be seen and make that money because it's out there. The potential is there. Yeah. So now it's time to stop, drop, shut them down, open up shop. You know what I'm saying? So I'm opening up shop. Anybody want to come to the shop and get paid and get their name and stuff out there? You see, I ain't biased like Sodnetta. I'll take any of you out there. We got to do a signed contract now.
Well, you know, it's pretty much moved. That's why, Carl, it pretty much moved into its next phase. And this is where what's interesting is to watch a black guy go up against a foreigner, right? So that eliminated one person from a job. That other black guy that would have been debating, he no longer has a job. That job is replaced by a foreigner. So now, you know, just two black people going up, that's no longer going to be interesting according to the format that they're pushing. So, you know, maybe one day we'll want to see, you know, two black guys debate different ideologies or so forth. But, you know, if this did anything for promotion outside of what was already there, it is now on a level where, hey, we got to bring that to professionalism, because what you just got, I mean, that's like recording a rap album in your mama's basement in the closet, you know, and using your bathroom as the microphone booth. That was the equivalent of that right there. This ain't what's really going down. But they got over, you know. So, you know, when I get ready to get up in them Facebook chat rooms, if I don't see a clear understanding that everybody is on one accord, that you got it, Rob, then I'm done talking about it. I'm just gonna kick back and watch you get that money and just laugh.
Y'all just abused spouse of the conscious community that they got beat up and said, but they love me. How did he love me? That's what y'all are. Polight them already told you. He showed you what happened to the church. Then he said, okay, I could abuse my conscious community lady over here. And she gonna do the same thing because this is the mindset of the abused woman. And if y'all don't think y'all the abused woman, I'm over here to tell you that they just blacking y'all motherfucking eyes, stoked y'all down like you was a 2-bit whore and they don't love you, but you gonna say they love you.
Hey, Carl, I just got an urgent message for you. Somebody just reached out to me by the name of William Bell, and he said he'll debate you $2,000. You got a debate live and on point. He didn't call you.
Oh, yeah, we already got a beautiful recording of it. I'm selling it on IsraelDoctrine.org. Me and the William Bell first debate. You know what I'm saying?
He talking about part 2. He's saying that you can't quietly hear the rigor mortis creeping in.
Well, I want to go to Atlanta with it, or I could take it to Chicago. And like I said, allocating the money for that ain't nothing because I ain't got to make no money off the first event.
Okay.
I get all the money to the debate on the first event. Why? Because I'm a recording and stuff, and I'm gonna put it up there for that monetary gain, and put it on YouTube for a little monetary gain, and then I'm gonna be preparing for the next one where I can double up. See, it's business.
So maybe
William, if you want it, you can get it. You know, I've been wanting to get it to you and done for a minute anyway. So let's make it happen.
So you got to create 3 cards, and then we, you know, we want to bring in a conscious poet or something. You know, show them what they should have been doing, utilizing resources or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it, and most definitely it's gonna be 2 brothers with a job and making some money and making some history together. Because, like I said, Mr. Bell, you know, is no one else out there that want to touch preterism.
Hey, why don't you open up the phone line? Maybe a couple of your viewers want to chime in on this. You want to go to the phone lines with it, or let a few callers come in?
Yeah, I got one here, but I don't think this is what to talk about. So what's say? Hey, I'm doing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, we can open up the phone lines 312-985-7856, and we could do our debate, which is round two, which we supposed to been doing 2 rounds anyway. If y'all don't know Mr. William Bell, that's a full preterist. He live in Memphis, Tennessee, and we had a debate back here a while ago, and we did 2 days. And I could tell you his platform, he had the camera right there, this and that. We weren't really doing live stream. I live streamed it from this little camera right here, but we weren't doing live stream. But
yeah, they
we
could
got
call it at allthingsfulfilled.com.
yeah, and IsraelDoctrine.org.
Yeah, I think they can get that debate you had with him there too, can't they?
Yeah. At All Things Fulfilled at William Bell's, site, in IsraelDoctrine.org, which is my site. And the rules and stuff in the contract. We signed the contract. We laid down the rules that, in the introduction, we was gonna talk about our things, not attack each other. I mean, LaRon G. Campbell, when he was around, he handled his business by saying what was going on. We got a caller here, so let me shut my mouth. 651, peace. How you doing?
Peace, yo. What's up, Israel Doctrine? It's Lex, bro.
What's up, Lex? What up? Yeah, we talking about future debates, a new debate circuit, Black Intelligentsia, which people know I've been pushing that for a while, and talking about setting up some debates and stuff on this platform, and doing it better than Sonetta TV. I mean, they keep telling us, well, if you could do it better, do it better. Shut up, nigga, and go build your own platform. So mine's been out there for a minute. I just can't get nobody to get on the platform and debate. So, it's sign up season. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. There's definitely at this point, as we watch the House of Coons fall down, the doors are definitely open for other platforms, man. I think your platform's growing. I wanted to chime in a little bit on the debate and what y'all was talking about. I got finished watching their little live stream after debate, and it reminded me of Common Sense's old song about hip hop called "I Used to Love Her," man.
Ooh.
Consciousness has officially gone Hollywood, and what I observed, man, once you go back and you look at this, look at them, it looked like it was Yo MTV Raps, man. I mean, they were sitting around looking like rappers, man. They were so Hollywood, so watered down, so egotistical, so materialistic. I mean, and it was so contradictory to everything, right? You had Bubbles, aka Aunt, sitting there with them, right? And so they asked Polight a question about some dude who's riding Polight's jock was, well, brother, how do you do it? How do we get this great? How do we get to Hollywood? And he referenced his inspiration from Dr. York. Keep you in mind, Ankh is an ex-Nawabian, and a lot of people in the Army Raw Squad, like Wu Jiao. Now, this is what I'm talking about, right? Ankh sat there and said, y'all not going to get me to go against my brother or whatever. Ankh is an adamant hater of Dr. York. I know this personally.
I do too.
Because I think one of his friends' children was involved in that thing that went on with Dr. York. Garfield A. Reed from Team Osiris did like a 15-part series with Wu Jiao condemning Dr. York on the radio saying he was the biggest monster, him and Garfield, the biggest beast that ever lived. And if anybody support this guy, they're just plumb crazy and sick. But Uncle Cat sat right there as Polight gave this man all these kudos, smiling and looking like Samuel Jackson from Django, talking about y'all ain't gonna get me to go against my man. Listen, man, at this point in time, these guys are really irrelevant because we already know that what's going on. Like I said, man, you're watching. Imagine a beautiful woman, man. And I just started writing a rhyme and a poet about this. That's why I mentioned Carmen Sit's song. I used to love her. In that video, he had the woman that represented hip hop, right? She had on the head wrap. She was looking cultural. And then he showed later what she became after she went to the West Coast and did all that stuff. She came back with a mini skirt on and, you know, just looking like a whore or whatever. Now look at the conscious community, man. Go think about, if you think about hip hop as a woman that was introduced to you, say, look at it at consciousness. Elijah Muhammad introduced his daughter named Consciousness to you. You fell in love with her. You know, even John Henry Clark, Dr. Big, Noble Jew Ali. If you look at their images of what consciousness is in the form of a woman, you got that woman. She looks decent. She's in a head wrap. This is not something you can find on the street. You might find her in a library. You know what I'm saying? You might find her, you know,
perpetrating at church.
Something is cultural or something. But now, this guy Polight, man, and this is what he's selling. He's saying that basically we gotta take this to the youth. I didn't know whether these guys were conscious or whether it was Dipset or D-Block, man. Wait till you go back and look at this video, man. They got a guy starting off with this rap. And if you look at the way Polight posts his wives, now this is the man.
Well, hold up, Lex. I feel you, and you
I'm not going there. I'm not going.
Hold up. Okay, we ain't got to. I'm just saying. I really don't want to bring the man wives in because they're Catholic.
No, I know that. I'm not doing that.
Okay, I just want to hold up. It's cool. Calm down just a little bit. I just want to make sure you don't do that.
Right. Okay. I'm just making a comparison because this guy compares himself to people like Malcolm X and, you know, I mean, we came a long way from Betty Shabazz, bro. You see what I'm saying? So what we're calling consciousness, you're packaging it right now. We're putting it in a package and saying, well, it's about the youth.
Well, hold up. Let me help you. Let me help you out right quick. We got Minister Farrakhan that wants to protect Beyonce now. But just a couple months back, even at the end of last year, he told Jay-Z he need to tell his woman to cover herself up and be more respectful about herself. So we're going to go there more because Jay-Z and Minister Farrakhan, I know probably ain't going to be tuning into this and hearing us talk about that. So now there go the visual for the people. The same woman now, he's saying I'm willing to protect her and put my FOI on the line for her, right? Trying to even take them away from the Black Panthers and the thing that she had and all of that. We're going to get into that politics right now. But he was just telling Jay-Z, you need to tell her to cover herself, you know? So go ahead.
Right. Right. So this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm making a comparison with a woman, man. So now I don't know the difference between, you know, what's conscious and what's Hollywood, man. They're mixing this thing together and they make it so bad, bro. Here's the biggest thing. Not only are they telling people, well, your concept of a creator is garbage, right? So now we got the whole Darwinian, anti-Darwinian evolution thing popping. But their egos before the people are becoming so large that it's reaching up to the heavens. Like these guys are, like this whole YouTube thing, and you know, and honestly, when I say this, what I'm saying is these guys are not as great, not really great men like that to be putting before the people, where people are idealizing these guys for one thing only, and I'm gonna include myself in this. they don't have the decorum, the demeanor, the principles, the standards of the great men they're trying to be like. They don't have the decorum of John Henry Cox, man. You see what I'm saying? The decorum of Malcolm X. And say what you want to say about these men you might do, but they had a certain thing about them. Even Martin Luther King. These guys are some new age, genetically modified revolutionists, man. And it's just a sad thing what's going on, bro. They are not the real thing. You know what I'm saying? They are not there genetically modified. And the guys that they big up, I don't think Dr. Clark would be proud of them. I don't think Dr. Ben will be proud of this, man. You cannot try to fool me and tell me with this, like this whole success thing. They think this is successful. Like we in Hollywood, we getting money, and this is what it's all about. But there has been no wins. You haven't improved one thing besides your outlook and your image.
Well, this thing is individualism. It's not nationalism. It's not the rise of the black people or the rise of the conscious community. It's the rise of certain individuals and their status and their money. And it's like, aha, look, nigga, I'm blinging on y'all. Y'all mad? You gonna look, you gonna see this money, nigga. I'm gonna make you love me, nigga. You gonna love the way I'm flossing on your ass, and you gonna take that like a man. And fuck what you talking about. I'm gonna do you like this. That's the abused fucking spouse right there. That's y'all being fucking abused and don't even know it. Like he just blacking your fucking eye, and you said, but he loves me.
Keep it a family show, Carl. It's the middle of the day. He going hard. He's going.
Thank you, sir. Higher learning, right? When Ice Cube and them got in that fight with them Aryan dudes, and after it was over, they was at the party and celebrating. And Cube was like, "What y'all celebrating about? This is one beatdown, man." He said, "Look around you. They own this. You all excited. These guys, they look so excited. They so amped up, like they did something big, man. It wasn't even like y'all was saying earlier. There was no scholarship in this debate. It wasn't really a big deal. And honest, Harry Rozenberg was disappointed. He didn't really represent like a rabbi should because he was really passive. But I'm saying that what's happening, man, I can't believe that people don't see through it. And they actually are falling for this psychology of, oh, y'all are hating. Hating on what? What you got, bro? You got the same thing that Michael Jordan had. You got the same thing that Jay-Z had. Are we jealous of them? What you're basically saying, I remember Jay-Z had this rap line before, and this is basically what it came down to. Just like the hustlers and drug dealers took over the rap game. And basically they was telling people like Common Sense, Mos Def, KRS-One, and Rakim, you're broke, nigga. What the hell you gonna tell me?
Yeah, that's
this
what.
This is the measurement of success. You saying this crap because I'm going triple platinum. No matter how bad an influence it is, no matter how much the music sucks, I'm selling. This is how they ruin hip hop. I see the same thing happen in the House of Consciousness, man. These dudes are coons, bro. And I'm gonna tell you this, and people might say I'm an agent, but I hope it happens. Because what they just did, and we had this conversation earlier, you don't know there's more coming behind that, bro. Because the Jewish community was watching, and y'all went about it in a nigga way, because you was disrespectful in a lot of ways, and you had the crowd being ignorant, and y'all saying certain things. You could have had more decorum. Now you're going to get your ass audited by the IRS for the last two debates. And I'll be glad if they lock you niggas up, honestly.
Oh, well, okay. All right,
yeah,
so.
That's real. That's real. Peace to everybody.
Hey, peace, what up? I forgot I even put you on the line. What's up? That's DJ Black, y'all, if y'all know the name. ATL's own finest producer, so on and so forth. What up, Black?
Yeah, I want to chime in on everything that y'all saying as far as you doing your own debates. You know, we had many conversations about it. I ain't gonna spill the beans on what we talk about, but you're doing your own thing. You know what I'm saying? And also, this debate's supposed to be about the Torah. You know, and they didn't keep it about the Torah. You know, and my thing was, you know, like I said, I had made a post on Facebook, and it was about, I said, I think I finally heard, like, and I wanted to, I thought he was going to be coming in there, you know, as intelligent as he's supposed to be because he got a certain vernacular about himself. I thought he was going to, you know, like, talking to so many Hebrews that he was going to be able to really dig into Torah, you know, because his master teacher, which is Dr. Was a person that had a lot, who taught him a lot about the Bible, who did a lot of lessons about the Bible, who did a lot of lessons about the Quran. So I'm like, okay, now you got a chance, you know, to show what your master teacher taught you. And it's like, the thing is like, the lessons all went out the window. You know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't learn that. Like, even having the few conversations he probably had with you, Cesariak, or whoever, you know what I'm saying? It's like that idea of, okay, what did these people teach me throughout all these years? You know, it's like he didn't come with none of that stuff. It's like,
let's look at this. Let's look at this. His debate with Ali Muhammad and what he tried to display after losing to Tazariak. This is his first debate back, right? This man copied and pasted, put his PowerPoint together there on the spot, and he was answering everything that Ali Muhammad was saying. He played his little video like he do. I guess that's called a polite style now. Even if someone take it now and, you know, go get an old video and modernize it, this and that, you know. So, but the way he was answering and doing stuff, right? He wasn't doing it this debate. You know what I'm saying? Even if Harry got off topic with the masonry and stuff, he didn't answer that at that time. People said he did it in the Q&A, but he didn't answer it there. He didn't go and type stuff up and put it in the PowerPoint. Then when he go to present, he just dealt with what Harry talked about in real time.
Yes, he did though. He did.
Right there in the first half, where the
right there in the first half of the debate when he went on right after.
Hold up, bro. Introduce yourself. This Rob Bourne, y'all. You know.
What's up, bro?
What's up, brother? Yeah, please. He did there because he took 3 things that he posted that he did right there on the spot. Put it. Now, here's the thing that I learned from this debate, that the questions from the moderators were very specific and very straight to the point on what was supposed to be answered about the Torah. And the first question is, hold
up. Let's stop right quick. How do you know what's going on or what happened? You was there, right?
I was right there in the front row. I was right there.
Okay, people, we got an eyewitness. Anybody else?
I was there.
Let me set it up for the people. We got an eyewitness, because the stuff he talking about, unless somebody can confirm it or something that'll put the video out, I didn't see it. That's how crappy the audio and visuals was. But we got an eyewitness to the robbery, so go in, bro.
Yeah, it's sad that y'all didn't get to see it, and that's not the first time that this happened with the from the debates. There's always some kind of technical difficulty. So from what I saw from this, the people was there extra early. Like everybody was there 2-3 hours, not 3 hours, but I'll give it an hour and a half to 2 hours early. Everybody made sure the vendors was correct. But what I did see was Sarnetta told Harry, listen, make sure that your computer is compatible or is working with this projector. He said, I got it. Don't worry about it. I can control it from my phone. It's good. He's like, you sure? He's like, I'm sitting right there. So he's like, yeah, I'm good. Everybody just running around talking, doing what they're doing. Now when it's time to start this damn thing, it take another 30, 40 minutes because the damn computer don't work with it. And then they had to go buy another one. But what I'm upset about from the debate is that Polight says this is going to be his biggest debate, and this is going to be extravagant. Okay, so I'm thinking this man is coming with some straight fire, and this is coming out of Harry's mouth. He says that I'm coming with a plan, and the plan that I'm going to present is a plan that is going to shock you guys. This is what he said. Now, Polight stuck to the first question. He answered all of the questions in the debate. Mr. Harry Rozenberg did not answer any of them questions. He diverted the whole entire debate and started talking about conspiracies of the people who did the crimes to the black people in the Jewish community that say that they're Jews, and said that Rothschild's real name wasn't Rothschild, and that those people weren't Jews, that they were Masons, and he showed a couple of slides of him in Israel, etc., etc. Polight came right on after him and took 2 slides of something that he said and threw it and did it. He's like, I did this right on the spot. You see, he just posted this. He said that the Igbos is Hebrew Israelites. Well, let's look at this right now. And then he did that on the spot. So he answered everything from the Torah. He showed about who the color is from quoting from the Torah, using what he did in his first round. Harry on his second round, after what happened, he didn't even present his second slides. He said, I'm not even going to present my second slides. I'm just going to deal with some of the misinformation that he gave. Yes, we don't follow the Talmud. And what was this? What do we pay for? This dude, it appears that his objection was not there to debate. And this is what I'm looking at, and this is what I'm seeing. So, like, if this is supposed to be a debate, regardless of what he said, you have ample enough time to answer back to what he did, because you got the same stuff that he got. And he didn't do that. And to me, from looking at it as being there, it seemed like he was on a mission to see what we actually doing, or to enlist black people in whatever his movement is that he says that he has in Israel. And I wasn't feeling that. You know what I'm saying? So as far as the brother was talking about the music that was played was the people that do side net that's on that play in the beginning of side videos. Those are the real.
About that real quick.
Hold up 1 second. We weren't talking about no music because we didn't hear no music. Well, I know when I chimed in,
I talk about Vortex. Vortex was just on here saying
he was just talking about common sense in the song that I used to love. You know.
All right, I got you. I could have swore he said if you saw the debate, it looked like a hip hop. It looked like a hip hop show.
Hey,
he
Rob
was
Bourne.
talking about the live stream today.
Hey, Rob Bourne, how was the audio though? It seemed like the audio inside.
Hold up, Lex.
Yeah, I was saying that it seemed I can't hear nothing.
What happened?
Yeah, I was saying that it seemed like the audio, even for the people sitting inside the event, was muffled. Like even you guys couldn't clearly make out the audio.
Well, I was sitting in the front, and it was really loud. Like the mics and the speakers was like loud, very loud. So in there, everybody could hear it. But what I did hear was you had Divine Prospect at the front. He was the one helping with the computers, and so is Reggie. So Reggie is supposed to be a computer engineer. So they was there. Divine said, "Yo, there's something wrong with the audio." And then I don't know if somebody called them from the outside, and I don't know what happened after that point because I didn't hear them talk. I heard them over there scrambling, trying to fix something or do something. I was busy focused on the debate. Then you had Divine Prospect. He said that I'm gonna video. Divine Prospect said I'm gonna video this too. So Divine Prospect started videoing it, and then the Titans guy was in the front too. So they all had their equipment. So there's no reason why that stream didn't go through, because I heard them say Divine was the first. He said it more than once. Yo, something wrong with the audio. So because he was asking Divine, why are you videoing? He was like, I'm helping you. There's something wrong with this audio.
Yeah, I think that's why I came in with the thing, because they had it point to the crowd and this and that. But that's enough for that. We got Mr. William Bell online too for the people that's on the phone, for the people that's on the chat. You can see
overall, as a debate, to deal with what the title of the debate was, the second party, Mr. Rozenberg, didn't deal with that, and that's what made it look messed up. The second part of the debate, the brother, he answered it a little bit in the 10 minutes that he had. Then he started rebutting what Rozenberg was speaking about Kemet. Do they deal with that and that? But y'all didn't get to see that. So that's
hold up, Alan. I feel you. Hopefully, none of them can have that video out by the end of the day, and we can witness what happened. Right. All the people that paid their money can witness what happened, because you know your viewpoint is good, but the camera viewpoint in the recording of it should be a little better. So I will.
It should be. It damn sure should be.
We'll get that out there. So 1 second, we're gonna move because we got a couple more people here. before we move on to Mr. William Bell and get a little bit more open, Lex wanted to speak, so I'm gonna give Lex a chance to rebuttal something or say something about something you said.
Peace. What I want to say about that is, I think Rozenberg was a little turned off from the debate. Because while, when Polight started off the debate, he said something about, well, I'm going to come like raw and do my nigga thing. I ain't going to change up just because we're in front of a white man. That's the wrong attitude to take. Like, if you taking your thing to the next level, that's what I was talking about, decorum, yo. Like, it wasn't really about because there's a white people. It's because it was a bigger platform. You got to be more professional. So I think Rozenberg was turned off. Like, he didn't want to participate no more in it. Because that's just like anyone. That's like if, I can tell, like, if you have a debate with even the guy you talk about now, William Bell, as a preterist, your decorum is probably going to change a little bit because it's a different forum, a different person. You know what they stand for, what they might tolerate. Now, intelligence is going to tell you if I come cursing at this man or whatever, he ain't going to want to debate me. He's not going to get involved in that type of rhetoric depending on the type of person he is. And this is what I mean by doing the NIGGA stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was an opportunity to be more professional. Now, regardless of you want to debate or not, you know what the people are really saying? Really? You still look like a bunch of animals. You have people screaming out. You have to, like, getting all emotional, insulting the man, and it was distasteful.
Right.
This is what I'm talking about. You should have had more decorum.
Right.
But before you go to that, now here's the funny thing about that is before the debate started, and I know that they had an issue with it because Rozenberg is ready to go on. They had an opening thing now when they was talking, and he told them, and they both agreed to it. He's like, listen, I'm saying this is gonna get a little fiery, and you know how we was talking is going out the window, and that's gone. And Rozenberg was like, yeah, you know what? I respect it. I'm just not a person to get hyper like that. So Sarnetta is like, listen, I'm saying we don't care what you say however you want to say it. No one's looking at it disrespectful. Crowd, do y'all think that it would be disrespectful if he say what he say? No.
Yeah,
so
that's all good.
Now hold up. Let's deal with it because I was there, bro. So
but that's just saying now. Hold up. You on my forum now? We gonna have some decor here. Hold up 1 sec. We gonna talk. We got time. 8 hours. So let's not start fighting with each other and stuff.
No, I'm not fighting with you, bro. I got like 15 minutes before I head out. I just wanted to give.
Well, okay. Like, go ahead and work about 5 of them minutes then. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is real quick. So, like, every time that he did say something, yeah, you had some people that blurted some stuff out. And this is probably in the way beginning. I don't know if y'all saw that. Dudes was shutting them down. Sarnetta shut them down. Beasley and Smack shut them down. Listen, man, nobody talking while the people was talking. Nobody say nothing, man. When the man is talking, respect the man. Dudes was even clapping for Rozenberg after he finished doing what he's doing. So even like when I saw the Komet on trial thing, when the Hebrews was building, that shit was bad. People were boo. It was nowhere like that. That wasn't like that how it was there.
Okay, once again, we hear you and we feel what you're saying because you was there and we like the first-hand account, but we would have rather seen it live, had our own perspective of what happened and things of that nature. That's why most people feel robbed over the whole experience. You was there live, so you got the live experience. We did not get a chance.
Crowd, really. It was Polight himself.
Right, and even with that, because this is the point I want to make. When Polight made the first video, he said he wasn't going to do what he did, right? So to sucker the man in and get him to sign the contract, and like he said when he sat down in the pre-debate, I don't ever run him away. And now you got him on stage, you got him in New York, you got him on stage, and it's like, let's throw the rule book out. You down for that? Yeah, I'm down for that. Okay, he agreed to throw the rule book out. So now there's no rules to it. No holds bars. You don't do it like that. So we're going to divert from all of that conversation.
Right.
Now it's time for the birth of Black intelligentsia and new debate form, new debaters, and this, that, and the others. So I would like to ask everybody to mute your mic.
Somebody's lying.
All right, I'm out. Yeah. That's me. I'm out to mute it. I'm going to mute the mic. Hold up.
Okay. I got it. Everybody mute your mics, please. Because after this, y'all can chime in. But I got a guest here, and he said he want to be, you know, contestant number one on the Black Intelligentsia stage, you know. So we didn't already did our thing and stuff. Hey, y'all mute your mics and stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm going now. Hold up, brother. My back.
So, how you doing, Mr. William Bell?
You got to unmute him, Carl.
Nah, he got to unmute himself. And if you playing an audio or something, then you need to turn that audio down. We was getting the feedback.
Okay, yeah, I figured I was on 2 channels later after I saw that. First of all, let me say, hello to everybody. I appreciate the opportunity to be here and listen to you guys. Carl, that was just a joke that I was sending in when I sent it. So you don't have to worry about me trying to get in and debate. Our platform, at least mine, is to dialogue first. And, we had our debate simply because you asked me, to have a debate. So I did. But my aim is to dialogue. Is that Zion Lex that I'm hearing in the background?
Nah, that's Lexley Vortex.
Oh, okay. All right. Voice kind of sounded similar. I watched a couple of his videos. I'm really impressed by that young man. But basically, well, let me just give my comment on the Polight Harry Rozenberg debate. I didn't watch it. I was determining whether I was going to watch it. I waited till the last minute, and I said, well, let me check out and see what I can find to decide, for me to determine if I'm going to watch it. And when I pulled it up from a link, I saw these guys getting ready to do it. And when I saw the video quality, it was so bad. The audio quality was so bad. This was probably about 30 minutes into their getting ready. Somebody may have just taped a part of it. But when I looked at that, I said, no, this is not worth me spending $29 or whatever the amount of money it was to watch it. And I said, I'll just catch some recaps on it to see what it ought to be. Of course, listening to you guys, it just kind of confirmed that, I'm glad I didn't waste my money paying for the lack of quality that I saw in the technology for the debate. Now, and then even listening to you, I hear that the discussion wasn't on the level that it should have been in terms of what was going on. And I know there's a lot of other politics and everything behind that. But I just wanted to weigh in on that in terms of, what happened and what I saw. And that was a reason that I am really glad that I didn't pay the money to watch it. Besides that, I've been kind of following you guys, not so much to be an antagonist or anything. I'm trying to learn because I see the Semitic community, I see some things in the Hebrew Israelite community, and I know that, I can't even name all of the different branches. It's just like with Christianity. We got groups within groups within groups within groups, and when someone brings up and say, okay, that's the Christian church or that's Christianity, they're not talking about everybody in Christianity. They're talking about a particular group. And that's the same way it is with Hebrew Israelites or ISUPK or Israel doctrine that I'm learning. I understand that you guys have some affiliations and some commonalities from where you come from, but at the same time, you have these different schools and different groups, and you have to be very particular in your communications with each one. And it's the same way. There are even different branches of preterists, as you know, Carl, because you talk about being partial preterists, right? So you have to understand that's a whole different school from us. We debate partial preterists, okay, from that point of view. So if you can really have an intelligent conversation or even a debate with someone, you've got to learn enough about them and about what they teach and understand and how they understand it, because there are nuances between each person's particular point of view. And from that, I see the Hebrew Israelite community as a community that has a lot to offer in terms of their knowledge of the Torah, because that is definitely something that, while Christians study it, average Christians don't study it. And I'm not even that knowledgeable in terms of the original language of the Torah, which, I'm wanting to develop. So I'm looking to try to learn from you guys when I can be in a forum where there's not all this high-charged rhetoric going on, because I can't deal with that. And that's what I think Mr. Lex was talking about a minute ago in terms of how the level of communication goes down. Well, most Christians that I know don't want to be a part of that. Even when I listen to it in my house, if my wife is around, I mean, she's like, who in the world are you listening to? So it becomes really, really, you know, a turnoff to have dialogues. And I understand the background. And I'm not, you know, I'm a brother. I can understand where people are, and I've been out in the streets and everything and understand all of that. But at the same time, in terms of a forum and a decorum, debating at a professional level where you're talking about having conversations, especially about scripture, I find some of that rather down putting. But from the other perspective, in terms of being able to learn and inquire, because I see this debate going on between the Kemetic group and between the Hebrews and even Christians, because I mean, you know, we're like the refuse of the world, so to speak, from the attitudes that I get. And I understand there's a Hebrew Messianic group, there's a non-Messianic group, etc. But there's some commonalities. There's some concerns about, and then we have the Pan-Africanists and everything. And from that perspective, I mean, I'm an African brother myself. So whether I'm Christian or not, and I think the plight that we all have transcends our religious beliefs. Because as many of you have said, and as I say, it doesn't matter what your religious belief is when you're out on that street and when somebody looks at you just because of your skin color. So from that perspective, we've got to see that there is some commonality, but at the same time, we need to, from my perspective, and I can't speak for anybody else, we need to understand that if we're talking about knowledge and growing, all of us have something to contribute one to the other. And because of my influence, or rather my interactions, the little that I've had, but I do try to watch a lot, as much as I possibly can, and I've probably spent more time watching Polight, Tazariak, and now Zion Lex, because I've just learned about him just a few days ago, and Carl Albert and some of the rest, I mean, and Sonetta, etc. Because I'm trying to learn who is saying what and what part you're from, and at the same time, what you're saying. Not so much because I want to interact with it in terms of refuting it. I really felt bad. Not bad, but just a little disappointed or just not necessarily pleased that my first encounter with people had to be one where we clashed instead of one where we could have sat down and say, what's these differences? What is it all about? Why do you believe what you believe, and how do we bridge some gaps? Because like I said, there's a lot of good information in terms of your knowledge of Torah and the reason you believe things. But see, we believe Torah too. We hold Torah as the foundation of our Christianity. They cannot be separated. But at the same time, and this is something that I've discovered, and I'm not saying I discovered it, but from the preterist community, because I'm a brother and I've been around the preterist community for over 30 years, the correlation and the integration of Kemet and of Egypt with both Hebrew and Christianity is intertwined. And when I see people trying to disconnect them for whatever reason, and that was the one thing that I appreciated about listening to Zion Lex, and that was the fact that he saw the connection between the Egyptians, that it shouldn't be that. And that's the same sentiment that I have from that perspective. So I think there is something that we can bring to the table that can be beneficial from that. But, you know I stand somewhat as an outsider, and especially as a preterist. See, I'm even an outsider to the Christian community. People don't understand that. They don't get that. Because preterism is not the fundamental belief of all Christians. It's just the opposite. They believe in a future hope, etc. So I'm going against that grain, and at the same time, I understand that people in the Hebrew Israelite community have that point of view as well, which becomes our sort of point of contention. But at the same time, it's also a point of dialogue and openness. So I am trying to be a student while at the same time a teacher. And I'm just as much of one as I am of the other. So with that, I don't want to monopolize the conversation. I'm going to end it at that. But thanks a lot for just letting me have that little piece to say. And we'll see where this goes in the future.
Yeah, well, yeah, William, you gotta.
Oh, do I need to mute?
Nah, you got echo maybe, but you got mute yourself.
Let's see.
You muted now. I muted you. So we got Ishmael Bay in the house. How you doing, Ishmael?
Peace, brother Kyle. How you doing today, brother?
Oh, it's good. It's good, man. It's nice that you tuned in or whatever. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, brother. Doing well. So you put out a video this morning with an overabundance of charges against Raw Squad. I'm talking about, boy, were you really throwing some zingers here? So I wanted to know what were the charges, or what was the purpose of that, and number two, to answer, of course, any kind of questions that you may have. If the Creator blesses me with any kind of answers, I'll be happy to share with you or add some clarity for you. So what was the purpose of your video, including us in that, brother?
My first question was, did the Ra Squad co-sign this as a scholarly debate or more of a hustle or rap battle debate?
Did the Ra Squad co-sign it as a scholastic debate? Was our name anywhere on that flyer, brother?
Nah.
Were we
Nowhere.
involved? Were we involved as far as being up on stage and debating with Harry at all, or was this between Polight, New Covenant, and Harry and his institute? Is that correct?
That's correct. But I seen posts stating we, and we is inclusive, right? Meaning we doing this and we did that. As the statement was, we pulled it off again. For it's like the Zion Lex green screen conversation that took place with Polight not making it to Egypt, but went to somewhere in Hollywood and did a green screen. So it's like it was talked about in the debate. I believe I heard that. So when you say we, that is
Right.
inclusive, right?
It is indeed. But no one understands this. Raw Squad is an umbrella organization. We have affiliate families, and we lent out our resources to assist both sides. You understand that? Column L is Raw Squad. He's our affiliate family. So he took care of Harry's videos. Do you understand that? So what we did was we assisted both sides. What we do is, as far as for the research, we assisted Brother Polight because he requested and asked us to do that. And Harry came and requested that we assist with videos, and we were able to supply that as well as the free feeds so that the people can get the videos that we thought were going to be a better quality than what was being offered from the other side that we had absolutely no control over. So understand that we assisted on both sides. Column L is our affiliate family. He is Team Osiris. That is under my authority.
Okay, I believe, like I told a lot of people that, he was around Ra Squad way back in the day before Titan TV came up and stuff, and that he was affiliated with y'all in some shape or fashion. So now let me ask you this question. In saying you assisted, would that assist and support be the same thing, equivalent to each other?
So when you're talking about co-signing, we would be co-signing on both sides. What happens is that we have no opinion over any of that. We're not on the flyer, nor are we having any kind of payment as far as what's going on with this. So yes, it's scholastic because it was a debate. Now it's only coming into question because the person that you hitched your wagon to took a major L. Now nobody asked you to jump out the window and put all that support behind that Jew. I told you from day one.
Before we go further, I believe it's a specific point that we need to deal with here, right?
What's that?
That what was the statement I just made, and I think you jumped over it. I took the equivalent of support, meaning you lent out your services or whatever. So I used the term support because the thing here is,
we lent support to both sides. Yes, that's correct.
Right. So now people are making comments towards me like you supported Harry Rozenberg over Polight. Well, I showed the flyer and I told people to get the screen. So therefore, I gave support to the debate and even their live stream and stuff. So I supported each side. But the thing now is, who do you think is going to win the scholastic debate, right? This comes to play in what they're bringing to the table to debate. I'm coming from Torah and the Israelite narrative, and I'm coming from the Kemetic Mayatic perspective, right? Well, I don't agree with that. So now as a man, not agreeing with that, but agreeing with the other side, not dealing with color, but dealing with information, I chose to say I believe the information from a Harry Rozenberg should win in a scholastic debate. I don't think it was scholastic debate. So when people saying this, it's like, well, okay, if you're gonna give me the charge of supporting Harry Rozenberg because I support the narrative in the Torah that he's gonna be using in the debate, then Dumb and Rock Squad gotta take that too. They supported Harry Rozenberg with cameras and this and that. So
absolutely,
the thing,
like I just stated, and I'll repeat it again. We supported both sides. I just said that. So what's your point?
okay.
Okay, well, let me say something real quick, Carl, just to add on.
Okay, I just want to say this. I just wanted to be known to the public out there that everybody that paid for this debate, everybody that had anything to do to this debate, really supported both sides because both sides was a part of the debate.
Yeah, but you mingling something here, Carl. And I mean, how you doing today, Ishmael Allah?
Peace, brother Pitt. Boss, how you doing, family? Good to see you,
I'm
bro.
good. I'm good. I don't want to be critical on you in any kind of way because I know you.
No, we good. We have a conversation. No, you're good people. So ain't no problem. What's up, bro?
Yeah. So what I really kind of got from what Carl was kind of putting out there is, yes, of course, since they're offering this information, it's a scholastic debate in that particular definition. But what I was looking at more so is like, okay, if you come on and just bring the same rhetoric that, you know, we find, you know, like Harry Rozenberg, it didn't seem like he dug deep enough because he brought out information like he started talking about the pineal gland, and you know, if you're going to go into the pineal gland, you're dealing with the real ABC 1, 2, 3s of any kind of Kemetic teaching that's out there. That's almost one of the first things you got to learn is the pineal and the third eye information. So from that,
brother Pitt, boss, not to cut your wisdom, but you right and exact. Now, our community itself is a very informed community. This is stuff that we united in 1990. So what he's bringing is not new to the table.
Yeah,
please continue, brother.
That's the point I was saying. Like, will they support it in that way? Not like, will you get behind and say, well, that was kind of like a real, you know, basic debate. Like, that wasn't no.
Yeah, but what we want to deal with here, what I want to deal with here is the fact that Negroes, and Malcolm X and Martin Luther King call y'all Negroes too, so don't take offense. Negroes tried to paint the picture because the Torah in the Israelite narrative is my natural calling in the debate, that I said the white man is going to kill you Negroes and the white man is going to dominate you Negroes, and like I said, the white man is going to do something, and it's like that right there is propaganda 101, and it should not have been done to try to decrease what I was saying or things of that nature, because we all know the controversial urban legend debate where I said salvation is for any righteous soul that choose to follow the Torah of the Israelite narrative. So Harry Rozenberg can be used by the God of Israel from my perspective. So anybody that don't understand that should have spoke with me on an intelligent level, and the ones that understood this was not to take a broad brush and just say he's a whitey lover and he took a white man position over us. Because that right now is propaganda that is dangerous in the community, because we put our lives, quote unquote, on the line a little bit. So you can someone do that, then they'll make RBG people.
Let me explain to you why it's perceived that way, brother Carl. Let me take a moment to explain it to you. The reason why it's perceived that way is because I try to be fair and balanced. We're trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. It's not like you don't know this. I let my forum know this, that you were fair and balanced in how you were representing this particular event. Only for you to backbite and attack me in trying to be fair and balanced to make sure that you're not painted that way. All that you did was take my brand that I developed and attack that. So the question then the people are asking is, who the hell are you working for? Because if Ish is one of the fair-minded people and advocating for you as being fair and balanced, and you're attacking him, now we have to ask, because you were injecting things into this debate like the ADL and the Jewish Defense League and backing up false anti-Semitic claims and trying to paint a picture or climate of violence, along with Harry trying to paint this picture of potential violence when there has never been one hair on anyone's head, including your bald head and mine. Not one fingernail has ever been touched at any debate but yet the picture's being painted as some potential violence taking place.
Well,
That
hold on.
was reckless. That was reckless, and that is why people would misperceive what you're doing. They misperceive what you do because you're painting a false picture. We gave that man the benefit of the doubt. Everyone was silent while he was speaking. Nobody was going around and attacking him or calling him out of his name. We listened to what he had to say, and we gave him the benefit of the doubt. And I reject what you were trying to paint, brother. I reject that.
Okay, that's cool, but a lot of that could have been done to the measures that I took in saying that, you know, the ADL and these people are going to be watching this event, and if anything go off, that they going to blame it on the community, and the community going to have to suffer for the acts of anyone that will pull any stunt at this event, saying that he came there with goons. And yes, he did put on his Facebook, which you posted in the Mirage Squad. But once again, there has been incidents with Polight and SETI with information that went up. At my debate with Dr. Mayat, and you can go watch the thing, she in an audience member was about to get into it. When these debates came to the point where Negroes, once again, has to get on stage with bodyguards, you already are showing the people that it's a dangerous event. Who would stand up and produce a lecture with bodyguards around them?
Oh, you mean like President Obama? You mean like Minister Louis Farrakhan? You mean to say that our lives are not just as valuable as someone else's? I'm not saying that something's going to pop off. I'm saying that you are intentionally painting a picture of something potentially popping off. And that was very, very reckless of you, brother. Nobody was trying to set off anything violent with that man. Nobody was trying to bring anything anti-Semitic into this conversation. That's something that you were trying to do because you had the fear of something in your heart, brother. We weren't trying to attack that white boy.
The term anti-Semitic came up when you was on here with David Mark, and y'all was talking, and he brought the conversation up. So now all that did is introduce
that's Harry's right-hand man.
Right,
and there was nothing that I said, there was absolutely nothing that I said that warranted that term to even be used. I did not call that man out of his name. I did not disrespect that man. I came in peace, and I left in peace with that man. And for that term to be used, which was Harry's right-hand man, again, this was done on your show, and you kept on beating that drum after he was on your show and painted a false picture on me when I never called that man out of his name one single time.
Well, the record is out there to show it, and so when I tell my people...
So are you telling me that I'm lying? Are you saying that I disrespected him?
I ain't saying none of that. I said, and I stated for the record, that the anti-Semitic thing came out, yes, on my show when you was talking to David Mark, right? That's true. Now, what you said to him and everything else, I'm going to let the audience go watch it so I can get some views, right? So I'm smiling. I need some views. Go get that video and watch it. Listen to the record for itself. They don't have to believe me or you. They can make their own perspective. They can take their own perspective in it, right?
So what, you gonna leave some kind of goddamn doubt out here? You trying to make it sound like I disrespected the man?
No doubt. The thing is...
No, then, goddammit. I didn't call him out of his name or disrespect him.
What you want to be known?
Let it be known that he's using a false term and trying to paint what we represent. Now, mind you, Mirage Squad was not attacking Harry or his right-hand man, David, or none of this. You know what I'm saying? You asked for me to call into the show. I call into the show. I then call in and ask him some pressing questions, and then ask him some pressing...
Show us that you calling to me.
No, you called in. You called and gave me the link and said, come and check out the show.
Okay.
I had a link. I was on the link, right? You sent me the link, right?
A lot of this is getting too like this, that, and the other, and the whole thing is I don't believe you was anti-Semitic, and I think I told him about that, right? Like, hold up, this is a black perspective.
Well, first of all, I'm an original man. I can't be anti-Semitic. I am the original man. So if there's anybody that's fraudulent, it would be the person who's trying to throw those aspersions upon me. So again, I reject that particular term. Right, so on to the next question. What else? What other problem did you have with Mirage Squad? Since that's checkmate. What else you had?
What you saying is, even in that video, that I didn't take your perspective and show him that he's wrong in what he said to you. That's why I said they could go to the record and they ain't got to hear me or you. And they can watch the record and give me some views, right? So I'm not leaving doubt. It's a record.
Let them all witness how I aired him out. So anyways, what's the next question that you had about our brother?
Now, with that, all I'm saying, once again, the broad brush and the craziness, like, I was down for some white people, this, that, and the other. That's cool. That's dangerous in itself, like I said, because you get a whole community of ignorant ass niggers, right? Negroes, niggers, and you try to, you or whoever, Sonetta or whoever want to do it, super muppets looking at me. So if I go to a major city and I go where people didn't see my face and I ain't seen theirs, I could be attacked by the bull crap propaganda that y'all trying to use against me because
Look at what you're doing right now, though. Look at what you're doing right now. You crying about some broad brush. Meanwhile, you're including Amon Ra Squad with an issue that you got with Polight. You got an issue with Sonetta. You got an issue with the media people. And you're painting with the broad brush.
Hold up. Did you not say we pulled this off? Well, you're not the one on Facebook talking about whoever joined themselves to Harry Rozenberg, we going to deal with you. So under your undertones, you're talking about me, but you didn't point out, and then you saying, well, I'm telling people you was cool, so we're not talking about you. So who were you talking about?
Excuse me, on that particular same exact link, did I not write on there that Carl was very fair and balanced? Did I not say that specifically about you? Nigga, right, if I was talking about you, I would say it. But did I not say that you were fair and balanced with how you said it? Did I not specifically say your name?
On that post? I can't. I believe you did, but I can't remember.
Goddamn right I did. I specifically, when your name had came up, I said that you were fair and balanced with how you were promoting it.
Well, like I said, it still could be misconstrued because if you do it on
goddamn thing be misconstrued. Your name came up, and I checked that, brother, and said you were fair and balanced.
It can't be misconstrued now if we sit down and talk. And that's why I put the Amon Ra Squad name out there, because it means you respond to another man calling you out. And you respond here, now that people can hear us speak as men about the situation. And if you don't see me in that manner, you let them know. If you see me in that manner, you let them know that. So
I
now
did. You just admitted that I did. So what is your question?
Right. So now it's on record once again, and let the record bear witness that.
Okay, so it's more views for you now.
Rozenberg. All right. I supported Harry Rozenberg, and in that manner, y'all weren't coons, nor were I coon in supporting our perspectives of the debate and our interaction with the people in the debate.
Carl, you guys have a great conversation going on that could last 2 more hours to get all that information out. That's another video. I mean, it's cool to touch on it a little bit, but you got about 5 other people on the line that we, you know.
I mean, it's just, if y'all want to,
like, y'all definitely need to hash that out, and I would like to see y'all call in and hash that out.
Okay, man. The whole point is that brother Harry Rozenberg, that people was co-signing, did not come to debate. I want y'all to really understand this. He did not come and answer no questions nowhere in no part of this debate. So when you're talking about what's a scholarly thing, the person that you siding with did not come to debate. So we shooting you, just showing you that's the whole point of this whole conversation.
Okay, one second.
Y'all started painting a picture like, oh, there was niggerish and coonish things. I'm saying this, that debate was more civil than the ones that I've seen between us as our own people. Like,
I
come
agree.
on, man.
I agree.
Right.
We really couldn't see that, though. We got bamboozled by bad audio and bad video.
Yo, bro, I told you, I saw Divine Prospect there saying there was something wrong with the audio. I saw Reggie over there trying to do something. I saw Titans. I didn't know what he was really doing.
Well,
Ishmael Bay just concluded it.
Got bad audio. It don't matter who tried to work it. No one had to to hit it with the wand and make it work. It didn't work. So therefore,
Titans had fine audio. They just didn't hire him. Harry did.
Right, but you know,
just say this, Carl. Just say you mad because the audio didn't come through, and then talk about the robbery that way. Don't start talking
I'm
about
not mad at nothing because
Carl can't even complain. He didn't even pay for the link.
How you know what Carl?
Because you said you didn't pay for it. You got the bootleg. You robbed the poor. So I'm just saying. The point I'm making is this: Polight had information. Polight. He supplied linguistics. He did the emoji comparison. He did the African linguistics. He provided maps. He gave you the books, the data, the authors. He traveled to Jerusalem personally. He used Jewish sources.
What do you see? What did you see that? How did you witness that? And everybody else that had the same link that you had, unless you had a back link, how did you see all of this?
Number one, I just pointed. Number one, I posted the part one already up in my forum. I'm a Raw Squad Scholarship. Y'all can give me some views too. Number two, I got a chance to bounce off both of the videos. I got a chance to bounce off of what was the live feed from the beginning because I had paid for that. And then the number two, I also had Kalam's link also, so I was able to compare both of them because Kalam had a better viewpoint. So I had the audio on one and the video on the other, so I was able to catch both of them. Number three, we supplied a lot of the information, so I was already familiar with some of the things that were being provided. But Polight was doing things live time. He was taking some things that were being presented by Harry and then debunking it on the spot. Harry cannot adapt. He does not know how to debate. So in other words, a major part of fighting, say you're in martial arts, you have to know Jeet Kune Do. You have to know how to flow like water in order to say, you know what, I'm going to adapt to whatever's coming in front of me. If I got a box, I box. If I got a scrap, I scrap. Harry cannot do that. As soon as he got punched in the mouth, he collapsed like a deck of cards, which is what we told you. It's very easy to...
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, brother.
Okay, that Polight brought in some linguistics, right? And in one of the videos where he was on Kalim's show, and he was, broadcasting of how he read all these other books, and he's about to introduce something they never heard before, or, in his words.
Right.
Do you have any any suggestion on what that information was?
I do know that there was Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
I was saying, I done been in the Raw Squad and seen in-depth conversations that last 5 days, where we go in on all kind of information that you might not never heard of. But I didn't really pick up anything that hasn't been brought to a Facebook, discussion board.
Right. I do know that a part of what Polight...
the lack. I think one of the major things he brought up was the end part of the debate was the lack repressor DNA, and how that was symbolic to certain geometrical forms, and how he made that symbolic to the judgment scene in Kemet, which I never heard no one break it down like that.
Are you saying this is information you will teach?
He had no references for that information.
Yes, he did. He gave you the reference to the book, brother. What are you talking about?
What I'm saying, let me say this real quick.
Hold up, let's say this. Ask for the mic. Let's not really interrupt people.
Okay.
I got my greatest number yet. 82 people on the line. Wow. So let's make sure the audience...
kind of effect, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, here's your doctrine.
Hold up. That's why I use the Amin-Ra name, too. I'm not bashful about me calling people's name out and trying to talk to the big dog so I can run with the big dog. So, hey, there's no shame on my game.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, brother Lex, go ahead, bro.
That information Polight presented about the geometrical shapes and all that, that is the type of information that the Armored Raw Squad is experts in debunking and calling pseudo. If a Hebrew Israelite came up there talking about these geometrical shapes and all of that transcendent stuff that Polight was showing, without showing some type of peer-reviewed article to prove all that, they would have hold on, man, calm down, bro. Calm down, bro. That whatever book he showed or whatever, you never read it, and the information he presented, what I'm saying is that's not nothing that you can call empirical science. I guarantee you, if you get that book, you'll find out that's philosophy. But when the Armored Raw Squad says they deal with empirical data, peer-reviewed science, they don't deal with no spooky stuff. That's in the realm of spookism. You won't be able to go to any science journal, any college, university, and find them talking about Horus and setting all these people and relating this to DNA and with these geometrical shapes and all that. I'm not saying that it was necessarily bad information, but according to Armored Raw Squad standards, that would be a pseudo alert.
Well, what happens is that there's an aspect of what Polight was introducing that was dealing with the metaphysical. That was actually on both sides, because Harry was dealing with some of the Kabbalistic and what Kabbalah also offers,
No, I know that.
which can be kind
Is
of
it a pseudo
intangible.
alert or not, though, according to
No,
Armor Ra Squad standards? Because you said metaphysical.
right. Metaphysical does not necessarily mean that it's pseudo. Metaphysical means that it's intangible. So,
Right,
so,
but
it's, so
according,
in the
see,
context that it was being used, I can't say that it's necessarily pseudo. I can just say that that's something that he was dealing with the intangible, because Harry was also dealing with some things that were dealing with the Kabbalah that you're not necessarily going to see in a book. So it was done responsibly. But I was going to point out to what brother Pitt Boss was talking about. It was supposed to be 3 rounds there. So they had made adjustments because of the technical issues. They had to cut it down into 2 rounds, as well as he had multiple folders that the public's not even going to see. He was prepared for a lot of different things. So he was digging into folders, and a part of the linguistics of what he was dealing with was under the tutelage of Brother Jonathan. The Magi was sharing certain information with him and decipherments to Polight in order to make sure that he was able to be peer reviewed, to make sure that the information was going to be accurate. So yes, you're right, Lex, that some of the information was dealing with the intangible and what I call the metaphysical, but that didn't necessarily mean that it was pseudo, bro.
well, no, yes, it does. I have many conversations with different members of the Armor Ra Squad, bro. Now you're saying it's not necessarily. I'm saying that if they was to approach, that's biased, because I'm saying if I would have got on the Armor Ra Squad show and started talking about that, they would have cut me off, started laughing, and said, "Bro, give me a reference for that or something. You talking some pseudo stuff." I'm not saying that it's not no truth to what he was saying. I'm saying that this is what I think people are saying in terms of, are y'all co-signing this in terms of scholarship? Because I know damn well, Ishmael Law, that if this was presented by someone else, y'all would have had a field day with it. Y'all would have been laughing.
Well,
You
hold
see what I'm
up,
saying?
if I can. When you deal with the metaphysics of things, it's stuff that, like you said, it can't be a primary source to it, because it's unless someone give you quote unquote pseudoism about it, where did they actually grab this from or touch it? Because it's in the realm beyond the physical, right? That's why it's metaphysical, right?
Right.
So
And they don't deal with that. That's why I'm saying. That's why when the brother asked the question earlier, I don't know if it was you or Pit Boss, are they co-signing this as scholarship, and are they being biased? Of course they are, because I mean, obviously they wanted Polight to win and all of that, but they're not going to be as critical of what Polight presented in this as they would on a regular basis like they do. Because in science, the way they deal with science, so-called, they deal with empirical science. That means when you talk to them, if you say anything about history or you make any remark, they're gonna say, show
Those
me. They're gonna say,
get to those
show me an artifact. Show me an
tangible.
artifact.
No,
Cite that.
we deal with things deeper than that, brother. That's a elementary way of trying to surmise what we deal with in Armor Ra Squad. We deal with metaphysical also.
Who deals with metaphysical? Ngozi, maybe?
Yeah, and Ngozi deals with the metaphysical as well as I do when we're dealing with Sufism, and Ngozi does more with the metaphysical on the other realm also. So yeah,
But
we
y'all
deal with
don't.
that.
Not in the public. Not in the public. Because
Yeah,
maybe you might have some personal beliefs. But if you listen to the Armor One Squad, if someone starts talking metaphysics, they're gonna say, "Well, we can't even go there because you know that's philosophy, or you can't prove that. There's no
well,
hardcore evidence to show that."
there's a lot of
Because
our people
that's
that
because this
get
is
spooked out, bro. A lot of our
all
people
right.
get
And this
spooked
hold on,
out.
and this is the evidence. This is the attitude, y'all. The whole attitude you have with the whole God concept with basically, that's just your belief. You can't prove that, so I don't believe it. Ain't this what y'all are based on? You can't prove it. I don't believe it. So if
That's
he comes,
yeah, that's what Ankh stance is. Yeah, I mean Ankh is a real black atheist. That's definitely his stance on it.
all right, and this is Amon-Ra's scholarship stance in general. Maybe all of y'all is not as hardcore, but what I'm saying, if we talking Amon-Ra's scholarship, it's empirical, it's citation, it's hard primary source, primary artifact. So in that sense, yeah, they buck this a little on that. The other issue I have is you kind of tried to say that, well, we were supporting both sides. No, not really, because if you look at the stance that the Amon-Ra squad takes with the Hebrew Israelites in the Bible, the whole time y'all basically say, well, y'all are not these people. These people came into Africa. This is what the Igbo tribe, they basically got bamboozled, and they think they're these people or not, and y'all are basically living some type of fantasy and all this. But
back off your mic a little bit. Your breath is popping the mic. Your
okay, you're living this fantasy, but then when this debate come, Aunt gets on TV and says, y'all better back us up with this. You know I said these things, but now it's time for us to get together. And then he even tried to make a statement, well, we know the people in that area had to be of color or whatever. So they flipped the script. You can't do that, because if the narrative is it's Kemet is what's up, and the African science and the Bible's a bunch of crap and ignorant beliefs, how you gonna turn around and say, well, you Hebrew Israelites, y'all better get with us because we black, so we can go in and take out Harry Rozenberg, who's standing on the same book as they do? That's hypocritical, man.
I think your boy fell off the line, Carl.
Yeah, he'll come back if he wants to. He got the link.
That's what they always do. Amara Squad always do that when I get on the phone.
This is what I wanted to say.
Look, y'all, like I said, this is not really a let's beat each other up thing. I mean, we're gonna make our points, and those that fold will fold, but let's not get into the, this, that, and the other. So, but go ahead, Black.
Well, this is what I want to say. That and a lot of times I don't never think Carl is disingenuous about. I mean, sometimes you may be a little irate on how he said, you know what I'm saying, but not disingenuous. And he always put it out the fact that he's writing with Torah, Now, my thing is, like I said earlier when I got online, that, when I was on the phone call, that I thought that Polight would use Torah back against Harry Rozenberg. That's what I thought. He was going to use Torah back against him. Like, the same, this man think he's going to come with that power. I'm going to use this power against him to show him who's the true, who's supposed to be the true heir, the true readers of this word, and also use his Kemet knowledge as well, and also everything else that he's learned in the past. That didn't happen. Then the audio to be messed up, you know what I'm saying? And then, hold on now, the crowd was really going, every time they can say they told the crowd to calm down and this, that, and the third, but them folk was still interrupting that man. Like, what Sonetta and Smack had to say, it didn't even matter. You'll see the video when it come up. It's like, I don't want to be sounding like, oh man, just no, bro. You know what I'm saying? Now my thing is, I got the link. You know what I'm saying? I watched it, a lot of it, and I didn't. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, to say, okay, I'm gonna sit here, and I really want, before I chime in on it or whatever, and then I'm like, dang man, they ain't even really digging with.
If no one is disappointed in that, then because Ishmael just said it himself, Khalem probably had a better recording and could have did it better, this and that, and he didn't. The Ra squad did not have control over that, but Khalem is the extended being Team Osiris and stuff. So, like I said, it's a lot of stuff going on here, and it is what it is, man. All these networks, KTL, Do the Knowledge if you want to chime in, anybody out here that got a so-called media platform in the conscious community, we all can make our circles and talk to each other. And if people still want to paint the pictures that I just chose a white man over black men, then I mean, have me on your show, talk to me, and try to understand my position. It's wrong for Negroes out there to try to paint a picture of me. And that's why I did what I did. Like I said, I don't have no problem calling out the Ra squad or nobody. It's no malice in it, because all I'm saying now, as men, we need to sit down and we need to get into this and talk to each other and fight to do whatever it is we need to do, so everybody's point of view could be understood from their point of view. Don't get the secondhand perspective of anyone else, because yes, that's tale bearing, that's bearing false witness, that's all the things that we said is not correct. So if you have a problem with my position, then just talk to me about my position. I gladly come over to your show. I take the rhetoric and this and that and all the craziness and talk to anybody about my position, because I keep saying that I bagged Harry on this because he bagged the Torah in the Israelite narrative. Therefore, if the bullseye's on me, I welcome the bullseye. I've been taking the bullseye on this whole thing since the Dr. Mayat debate. So that's why I kind of hate it, because I asked Harry, look, let's put this out there too, right? And this is what people even said, well, Carl, you're siding with him and he won't side with you. And it's pretty much true. Let's look at it, right? Zion Lex called in the Sarnettas and said, I'm not going to do it. Sarnetta said, well, Israel Doctrine said he is brother. Tazariak said, nah, don't let him on your platform. I hit Harry up because I can communicate with him and say, look, if there's any Hebrew Israelite or black man that needs some help right now, you need to get me on that stage. He said, I need to pray and stuff on it. And so with Sarnetta mind there, Tazariak saying don't do it, but if Harry would have stepped in, I could have came and been a part of it and faced the great Sarah Sunseti or whatever, right? And then it would have been a different type of debate. But you see after that, Sarnetta and them said, well, could you have somebody else, but don't let them be black, because they still wanted to play the race card. Don't let them be black. We can't have a black up there with you, because now it's black and white, and can a black and white have the same God? Yes. In the sense, the God that Harry proclaiming is his, I proclaim to be mine. And everybody else on here that deals with the Bible proclaims the same God that Harry do. Now, he might not adhere to his teachings and stuff like we do, and we might not adhere to it like he do. But we all have the same quote-unquote deity.
And then that's where the debate. That's where the debate is. You know, to see what the difference is. Like Mr. Bell said. You know, Mr. Bell made it real clear. I need to know your position. You know, I can't have a debate with you without doing any research about your position. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Carl, if you don't mind, let's hear William Bell give a little breakdown, because he did a lot of research on Zionism. I mean, he got a lot of information. I don't know if he minds sharing that.
Hey, can I say this real quick though about what was on the flyer? Wasn't it a review of the Torah and the Israelite narrative and something about?
No. Look, let me tell you what happened, and that's why I did the show. Can we get the orders of the flyers? They stuck with the original flyer, just like the Kemet on Trial. The Kemet on Trial flyer said, which one is better, the Kemetic teachings or the Israelite or the Bible teachings, right? And so where people was arguing and saying, is Kemet on Trial, it's like, dummy, you didn't read the flyer. It was saying we comparing the two systems and which one is better for our people. And it came from me, because that's what me and St. Kofu was supposed to be debating, which the Bible is the best tool for our liberation, and if it's not the Bible, what is, right? So Polight them basically took their intellectual property, right, and started changing their debate format to, is this better than this now? Is this better than this? Even with the Pan-Africanness over the Bible, is it better than this, right? So, like I said, people don't want to give me credit for stuff, but I changed that paradigm in the community. Because before then, it was just what it was, right? And then, even with that, like I say, Sarnetta know. I think Ishmael on the line now. Ain't that you there, Ishmael?
He ain't back yet.
I got you, bro. Yep.
Yeah, okay, that's Ishmael on the phone right here. He's back with us. Everybody in the conscious community know that I, from the biblical perspective, gave salvation to everybody. So if you want to ask if people can have the same God, I'm really, quote-unquote, the author in the community, Sarnetta TV, that brought that to the stage. But no one ever seen my work to understand that. And so they know it, though. So how you going to leave me out of this? That's why I was trying to get Harry to bring me in and this and that. And I did shows talking about how Zion clone my controversy. So once again, you leaving the main component out because I don't have the name and stuff.
Yeah,
but
politics.
I am the one that birthed this whole thing.
Hey, Carl, let me ask William Bell, if you don't mind. Like I said, I just wanted to reiterate. I just wanted to give a little perspective in the Zionism effect that Harry Rozenberg was bringing. If he's there, you still there, William Bell?
Yeah, I'm here. All right. Let me start, I guess, with my perspective, especially when the term Semite comes up. I view the term Semite to refer to a language, not to an ethnic group. And one of the reasons for that is because I accept the Bible that says at one time all the people were of one language and of one speech. And since Semitic languages are African languages, and according to a Hebrew scholar, there's a book right there that it's documented in this book. It says that there are certain sounds within Hebrew that are with difficulty. I'm not talking about the Ashkenazi Hebrew, which is the German and Russian dialect, etc. But those sounds are with difficulty and require tremendous amount of practice by Europeans to pronounce. So one of the arguments that I make when I'm talking about them is that how do you create a language that you can't speak? And from that perspective, if we take the narrative in Genesis 10 and 11, then all of the African peoples were Semitic people. So and that's where I kind of start seeing a divide between the Kemetic people, but I don't want to get into that right now. And by the way, I got the Book of the Dead right here, and I got a whole bunch of other stuff on my desk. So it's not like I'm not studying, trying to understand, this dialogue that's going on. I do see that Zionism was introduced to the Christian church through a Bible called the Scofield Reference Bible, and that Bible is connected to Charles Darwin, Francis Galton, whom we know were eugenics and the evolutionists, etc., and Samuel Goldemeyer, I believe was his name. I can't remember, but there was another gentleman who financed that process. Now, when you guys say that you are believing the same thing that a Zionist believe, I part company with you from at that point, because I don't think that you do. I believe that they were converts to Judaism, European converts to Judaism back in the 8th century. The reason they converted was for political reasons, not for religious reasons. They were basically trying to avoid Christianity on one end and Islam on the other, and to give them an independent but an authoritative religious perspective, or I don't know whether you could call it religion, but a perspective, so that they didn't have to bow down to either one of those authorities. They chose Judaism for that reason.
Political perspective. Zionism is a political philosophy.
Yeah, it's a political philosophy, not a religious one. Exactly. And personally, I see it as, and I've actually written a little book on that. It's just a little short book, but the reason I wrote that book was because of these studies, and I had conversations with what's this British? I can't even think of his name. And I got his book up on my shelf. If you've read, I can't think of it. I'll think of it in a moment. But at any rate, I had conversations with him, and so I wrote this little book called Zionism, the Wolf in Judaism's Clothing. So I see that political perspective, and of course, they bring the religion in, but I think it's a very dangerous perspective for, and I may not express them all at this particular point, it may be for another time, but I've done enough study to know that I personally wouldn't want to be a part of anything that's associated with them. I've read Dr. Ben's works, and I think at least some of them, and I think that he was right on point in his opposition to them in terms of what he said about them. So from their political perspective, and because of what that's connected to, not only in this country, in subverting, and I think it's, I call it one of the greatest thefts ever perpetrated in history, for them to claim to be the people of the Bible when they were clearly African people, is just one of the things that I am totally opposed to. So, and I have people in the Christian circles who don't accept that, because we have what's called this Christian Zionist movement, which is the John Hagee and many others of that persuasion, which are very strong, the QFI lobby, etc., which we oppose. So that's just a little bit of a rundown and a perspective from my views on them. And I would think that if you were going to have them in a platform, you certainly should have had, this is just my perspective, a strong, somebody strong in the Hebrew Israelite community who could really communicate, from that perspective and point that out, because that's probably what, and even when I listened to him in Polight, that was the one thing that he seemed to have wanted to avoid, because he always tried to divert from that by saying, well, there were always a mixed people coming into Judah. Yeah, we understand that, but the point that Polight was trying to drive home at the time of that discussion, or whomever was having that, I can't remember whether it was Polight or somebody said, I listen to a lot of guys, and I'm still trying to learn who's who. But it was trying to drive home the fact who were the original people, and that's the question he kept evading. So
That's why Polight wasn't the person to have the debate in the first place.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You see what I'm saying? And that's what I was saying before. He wasn't the right person to even, because
let's not digress into Polight.
Right, I know, but I wanted to say,
go ahead.
Real quick, is that the reason why I say that is because that's why the debate didn't come out with no scholarship and making sense, because he didn't really deal with the subject matter, which was the Torah. In order for Rozenberg really didn't have even nothing to rebut, because Polight's whole debate was political. That was a
right. That's what I did the show. I don't know if it was you or not, but he didn't have no political statements in the title or whatever. Even in the first one, it was kind of a political statement, like is the God of the Bible for the white Jews or for the black people or whatever, us or whatever. So they got into, but that's why even when and Ishmael can attest to this if he was listening to that whole show that he called in. That's why I asked David Mark, if he should have got ahead of it. Like, you should have got ahead of a lot of this stuff, because the basic Negro or black perspective on the Jewish people was going to come out if you didn't get ahead of it. And that's why you see him adjust himself, and even in the debate, when he tried to talk about the Rockefellers and this and that.
Yes.
So the conversation I had with David Mark. So like I said, whether people want to give credit where credit due or whatever, it don't matter to me. I do the work.
Israel. That's why he addressed that. That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't think Rozenberg had really much to say, because Polight's arguments was all political. And when he brought up the information about the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and Freemasonry, he was basically saying, bro, your whole argument is dead now. There's nothing more to say about it, because actually you're more a part of that than Orthodox Jews. Right, and the debate was over.
Right, that came about though because of the conversation with David Mark and all of that. The same way the AD conversation came up. One sec. So these are the things that I'm saying that I was trying to insert myself as best as possible into this debate, as well as everybody should have did that. As who argument is it? I think it's my brother Damon Smith that was on here this morning, right? The blue collar scholar, right? As he said, when Khalil didn't ask certain questions and people didn't bring out certain things, then it made the debate and the conversation watered down, because nobody can see the different perspectives and angles that people need to attack and talk about. But see, that's what happened when Polight was quiet and he went on that, that quiet spree, and he just came out on Khalim's show. If he would have went to other shows and if even Rozenberg went on certain shows but on other shows, then these type of conversations could have, manifested themselves and would have made for a better debate.
Can I ask a question?
Hold up, sci-fi, because Alan want to speak. He was trying to cut me, then you got it.
Do anybody know what the
hold up, Alan. Hold up. We can't hear Ishmael. He just want to clarify what I just said, and then it's Alan. Go ahead, Ish.
Absolutely. I just wanted to back you up, Brother Kyle, that you're absolutely right. If they would have heeded your warning and got in front of it, it would have saved them some major errors. We had the eyes that were there in the audience that was taking pictures of Harry's support team trying to pull up live time the Rothschild information and the Black Freemason information. As he was trying to pull it up live time, they lost valuable time because they did not heed your warning. If because the things that they were trying to combat were things that you were trying to prevent. And these are a lot of the things that they were forewarned about, and out of arrogance, they chose to ignore that. I just wanted to back you up on that.
Okay, Alan, you got the mic.
Yeah, and he's right about that. And also, the questions.
Your mic is muted or something, Alan. We can't hear you. Well,
mic.
South,
Oh.
you take over till his voice can be heard again.
Yeah, let me ask this question real quick. So, Mr. Rozenberg is considered a Zionist Jew compared to what they would call a true Torah Jew.
No.
No, I wouldn't say that, and I think that's the whole thing. That see, with Rosenberg coming out and going viral by saying that the African Americans and those people in Africa, the Biafran and all of that, which David Mark, interviewing them and talking about them and stuff, they get involved in that, and that's when you get into the political stuff. Is really these people trying to bring the African Jews into their foes so they can help be a part of the army and be a part of the defense and this and that, because on this planet it's less white people than black people. So if you a white person can get black people to integrate with you and come into your military or whatever, now you have more arms and stuff and you have people on your side. So when you go back to the political aspect that you're talking about, then it's just like integration in the United States of America, where we could get them black dollars to come into our stores now, this and that. So yes, the political thing is there, and I'm all down with the Zionism and stuff.
That
And
was
as you say,
that was kind of a bad misrepresentation, though, bro. Because first of all, Harry was trying to make it clear that Judaism, true Judaism, is separate from Zionism, and he wasn't just trying to bring in black people, but the house of Israel that was scattered in all four corners.
yeah. I mean, I understand that. I'm just talking about the Zionist perspective that he was asking about, because as he said, he's trying to follow this, but he's not following everything.
Right.
He don't have to do that. So what I was saying is, this is the picture that was trying to be painted also of Harry. But when he did a video that went viral, he was bringing blacks in. But I just said how people may have looked at that as bringing people into their military and bringing those finances and that labor and stuff from black people that will integrate into this movement. But I don't think that's Harry's perspective or whatever.
Yeah, he made it clear that he's not a Zionist, and that's why when he gave that information in the beginning, he did that because he knew where Polight was going. I think that was part.
Just to try to help Mr. Bell.
Can I say something, Carl? I just want to build because I'm losing my thought, and I was trying to build off of Lex Vortex, what he mentioned a moment ago, explaining when he brought out why Polight wasn't the perfect candidate for this debate, because early on when the idea of Harry Rozenberg coming into the community to debate, we already understand that what's bigger than what we call a conscious community is the fact that black people in general feel like an identity is stolen with those Jews that currently live in Israel and take on that name. As William Bell was pointing out, that they became converts in the 8th century. So in saying that, the egotisticness of like Sonetta TV, when Harry Rozenberg said, well, I want to debate Polight. Well, he's being strategic because he knows that Polight isn't a friend of the Bible to ask the tough question. If preparing for this debate, and he can't bring out a question that would be coming from the position of someone who favor the Bible, who would definitely pit him in a corner. Polight.
But I think I think it needs to be noted that Polight asked for the brother to be a part of the debate, and then they discarded Zion Lex by playing to his emotionalism, not being the.
What I'm saying is, I agree with you, but I'm saying, Sonetta could have took a more broad view and said, well, yeah, we got him here, but maybe we need to have a panel going at a panel. Maybe, this was just an opportunity that we could have put a Jewish scholar in the hot seat.
But the thing is the door open now, because the David Mark, I'm still trying to keep communication with him and the other brother that came on and stuff. And then that's why I said William Bell might not want to debate me, because I know he took that last loss like a man, but he might want to debate one of these. He might want to debate one of these guys or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Hey, William, you kind of loud over there. Reach your mic or something. But now, he might have
best line of the day.
Huh?
That was your best line of the day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, y'all can order it off of his platform or my platform, but you know, watch the, you know, don't take our perspective. Watch it for yourself. Spend a little $25. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? He could debate somebody like that now, or you know, we can find other people because I'm still looking to get at you know, Dr. Michael Brown myself, and I know William didn't had him over on his show, him and Dunn and this and that and stuff. So the thing is, like I said, this is a time where we got people like Donald Trump and all kind of stuff going on in the world, where we can have all kind of dialogues with all kind of people on all kind of subjects, but we can't be stuck in the brain that we, you know, to the point where we don't do these
Right.
things.
Hey, I
Carl,
just wanted to ask, hey, Vortex, was you did you watch it live? Were you there?
No, I watched it live. I watched
Oh,
it
yeah.
The
on
stream,
a
the
live
stream.
stream.
Oh, okay. So did you have the bad view, or did you have?
Yeah, man, it was horrible, man. It kept stopping. I mean, and you heard people talking in the background and all that. But you know what I really want to say, y'all, and I just had to get this out here. The reason why this debate was so important and why Sonetta and them don't know how to use their power, the most important identity on the planet is who are the people of the Bible are. All the politics on the planet, man, with the Christian churches supporting, you know, Israel and the way our people get treated. This was the most important debate that ever could have took place. But Polight wanted to use it to be Mr. King of Consciousness, super black man, when that should have been, this debate would have been in law, I think, what do they call it? It's like a precedent to another conversation. I mean, it would have led to reparations. It would have led to who are the God's people. It would have led to who are these churches really supposed to be supported if they're really about support Israel. That's why this is a major loss. All we got out of debate with Polight is his ego now, and they won and they think they did something. But if it would have been a Hebrew Israelite in that debate, that would have been groundbreaking. It was being, they was watching it from Israel, and the whole world would have had to open that conversation, and then that opens the conversation for reparations, or and to Christians. Are y'all really treating God's people correctly? If you know who they are now, and what do you have to do from here?
Everybody here to deal with the Bible or then study it know, blessed are those that bless the children of Israel, and cursed are those that curse the children of Abraham. I say Israel. But how you deal with those people, has a lot to do with how the world evolves and turns. Because you're going to be cursed if you cursing them people and you treat them wrong. And that's why they support, you know, the white Jew. Because they think that they are the original people. That's why even what Harry said had people shoveling chairs and stuff like, hold up, you said the black people is probably the original ones? What you talking about, man? I mean, that's where we at today. But like I
Right.
said, I believe people lost. But William, you wanted to say something?
No, I was just going to say Abraham had two sons. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
But what to William was saying earlier about like John Hagee and that Christian Zionist movement, that's why this was a heavy loss in terms of who should have been debating, because you had a representative from that community, and if this debate would have been done by a Hebrew Israelite, then it would have been a precedent. I mean, that means that.
I don't think that that's correct too. If I could cut the bullshit, because he was saying yes, y'all could be the original Jew, and the converts are the ones that wrote the most of the scholarly work. So you need the one to say no, you're not, like a Dr. Michael Brown. Now, me and him was having that conversation on Line of Fire, and a lot of people, you know, they take their perspective on it. But if you just look at the simple biblical text and the narrative is, Jacob took on the identity of Esau to get the covenant and the blessing.
Hey, let
And
him finish that thought, Carl. I wanted to hear what he was saying.
I want to finish my thought now. We got time. We got 8 hours. If y'all
You
ain't
got no
doing
8 hours.
No, you got 8 hours of time, but we don't have 8 hours.
okay, but I just wanted to, because I mean, what he's saying, this is an add-on that if you're talking about the identity of the true Israelite, that the statement is, especially from an Israelite perspective and a Hebrew Israelite perspective, is that Esau has now taken the identity of Jacob to receive these blessings and to have the world bestowing things upon them. So I'm telling you, the Israelite narrative is, from the text, the literary perspective is Jacob took his identity. Now he's taking Jacob's identity to receive the things that was given to Jacob that what he claimed was his at first.
We agree. We agree. I just
Right.
thought. I just wanted to.
Yeah. Well, to add on to what he's saying, I'm just looking at it like how big a move it would have been, because we got to understand what a lot of people don't realize, and the reason why the Comedics and all of them, they are agents in a sense is they don't really understand the socio-political aspects of black people being the children of Israel, because they can talk all that Kemet stuff and all that, but the whole world's politics is around Israel, bro. The whole world's politics. If Israel's not at peace, nobody's at peace. You can just see that even in the Middle East over that little piece of land. So with that debate, if that would have been on record and Harry Rozenberg would have lost that debate, now all the funds that's going to Israel, all the atrocities that happen to black people, all these the Zionist Christianist movement that William Reed was talking about, that would have had to be reflected. The New York Times was there. That may have made it on the news. Then people would have started to look and had to say, wow, we in trouble. We better do something for these people or something, because if you believe like you believe as a Christian as you say you believe, and why you support Israel so heavy, and you see what's going on in America to these people, now you at least have to turn around and be like, wow, that means the Creator could be coming for us. You see what I'm saying? So that could have changed, that one debate could have changed the whole politics. But you know what we got out of it? A egotistical fake pharaoh. That's it. That's it.
But so that's the whole thing of Israel always saying that they Israel over here in America, and people trying to deny that whole thing. And like you say, it's international. It carries so much things, even to the Christianity that you find the Hebrew Israelites trying to kick, because they, the ones that was converted into the new covenant, right? That was called Christians because they follow Christ, and the foundation of the church being the Israelites, and the people being a part of the commonwealth of Israel, or grafted in, or even into the wild olive tree. It's the whole scenario that we are the ones. That's why what James Cone put forth in Black liberation theology, and even the cross in the hanging tree, or I forget, the cross in the I guess it's the hanging tree. I forgot what it is, but the loose or whatever, you know, hanging people, the curses on those that hang from a tree. And how many people in America that hung from trees than black folks? Even Nina Simone had a song about it. You know what I'm saying? So we know our history. We know how even President Obama and his Perfect Union talked about, we identify, the Negro identifies the people of the book.
Right.
But that's the conversation that most people really, really want to run from.
And check this out, Carl. Not only, let's just say, if we wasn't, obviously there's a real reason why these people would choose that identity and why they have so much power. And let's just say, even if we wasn't, politically and militarily, this is the message to the Kemites, it would still be in our best interest if there's evidence of it to claim it. Because why would they claim it? Because it has more socio-political influence on the world than anything from Kemet. Nobody cares if you're a Cometian in the world. Listen, the Russians have a problem with Israel. The Chinese have a problem with Israel. Everyone in the Middle East, there's all this tension around Israel. So even just socio-politically, you would still be smarter to take that stance as a nationality, especially if you have the evidence and you have actual Jews coming out saying it.
Yeah,
so these guys,
and from the Moorish paradigm, when they saying claiming identity, then if we claim that identity, as you say, it's one of the most powerful identities to claim out here. So why not claim it?
It makes more sense because there's no. there's no socio-political power in claiming you're a Kimite outside of mentally masturbating and saying, well, we built the pyramids or whatever. But on the world today, there's really no socio-political power in that. You know what I'm saying? Because no matter how you cut it, right? When they say, all right, well, we don't believe in that book or whatever, well, you don't, but the rest of the world does. And when you say Jew or Israel, even if a person don't believe in the Bible, it's a consciousness that says that's God's chosen people. And it's a fear and a respect that comes along with it. So if that's you, if that's a big aspect of you, then you need to claim that. So what happened is when, and I hate to say, well, I ain't gonna say his name, but a certain person came into community and he started this, what you call polarization of, because it wasn't like this before, just like in the Marcus Garvey movement, you had Israelites and all that, but they started, Sarnetta and Seti, they started this polarization of this thing is not African, we need to get rid of it, the religions, the perversion, all that, and that was ignorant, because even if you don't subscribe to the scriptures, even your master teachers said it's still African, so it ain't nothing you had to really cause a big division about. All right, because we can look.
The vision brought about the stage and the platform, and the Bible is the most lucrative thing to go against, even in the conscious community. It is the conscious community stimulus plan, you know. But 1 second, we got an 817. Peace, how you doing?
What's up, brother? It's the guy. It's Adoption. What's up, man?
Peace, how you doing?
Peace, brother. So I'm just calling and listening. I'm enjoying the conversation.
Okay. I just wanted to acknowledge you since you called in. But people, I mean, y'all said y'all got time restraints or whatever, and we have been here for a nice little minute. Do anybody want to chime in and say something and try to get some things on the table, because we will probably be chiming out in a little bit. So.
Well, I wanted to just add something on with that. Is it takes maturity in order to unify properly. It's horrible representatives that comes out of Harlem, horrible representatives that come from the Kemetic community, horrible representatives that come from the Hebrew community, as far as being mature enough in order to really unify. And what it takes is that when you see people that do try to make avenues and trying to keep the communication open, we all have to, make sure that we're not each other's enemies if the end game is quote unquote nationality, or being able to put Israel on the table and making it easier for everyone. So just understand who your allies are, understand who your enemies are, and everybody just needs to show maturity on both sides. Everybody, whether I'm a Rough Squad or Hebrew or anybody else. You know what I'm saying? We could all take a page out of that book, and I think that'd be very beneficial in order to unify properly.
So now on that note, I want to say this to Ishmael and the Amun-Ra squad. I ain't worried about Team Osiris and Marcy Warrior Clan. I talked to the Amun-Ra squad, the original OGs of that, right? And Ishmael and Unk is, co-founder. But, yeah, I might have been a little reckless, this, that, and the other, but yes, I wanted conversation and stuff. And, through this whole thing, we've been cool more than anybody. And, I respect you as a man. So if I offended in any way by, throwing them shots, like I said, it was me doing what I do, and at the same time, I felt subliminally that you was still talking to the people, and they was looking at me, even though you was telling them, our people is kind of, they got a couple screws loose. They don't hear the one statement that said he cool, but they hear the other statements and like, yeah, Israel doctrine is one of them. So I wanted to have a conversation, and I could have called you personally and stuff, and I shouldn't have just went in the public with it, but I did it, So
it's all good. It's gonna be nothing but continued support, man. You're a good man. You know what I mean? And you're somebody that I do hold in high regard. I let the whole world know that unapologetically. I find you a stand-up dude. You know what I mean? And you always kept it real. So no, it ain't no problem at all, Pete. I'm just trying to let you know that you got allies in all walks of life. You know what I'm saying? So just understand that I want to see the same thing that you want to see. And if that's ultimate freedom and independence, then let's, we can make that happen.
All right, well, I just wanted to be known because, like I tell people, if I offend, it don't mean that you'll get my apology. If I didn't, then you'll know that I really meant to offend you, and I'm not taking nothing back. So I just wanted to.
No, you still got it.
I reciprocate that also. If you said something offensive, let me apologize for that. Because that's not the intent. You're a good dude.
Okay.
Well, you know, Carl, you still got to add this value to what y'all going through right there. Is that, you know, these titles that come upon videos that are put up into the rooms, you know, these are ways to get people to listen in, tune in, or respond. I mean, you know, we all do it. We all put up video, you know, titles that have catchy phrases to it, to, you know, and to get people excited to, you know, listen in. But I mean, it's all made for dialogue. And I mean, you know, if the emotions come out, it just seems like people are just passionate about their points of views. But at the same time, you know, we're building on top of these dialogues. And whether, you know, you agree with people's ideology or point of view, that's just kind of, you know, that's just part of the game, you know. Some days you the target, some days they're the target. So I just think, you know, we shouldn't get too emotional.
Yeah, that's real. That's right. That comes with the territory. That's true indeed. That's true indeed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my thing. One thing I have a question for Ishmael that I'm so curious about, and that's that with his background in law and nationality and Morris science, I think I know he knows the importance of nationality. So even if like you don't agree with like the Moors or the Israelites, you would have to agree that socio-politically it is a much the Israelite narrative and the Moorish narrative is way better than the African narrative socio-politically, because and I know you have that understanding. I don't know if y'all talk about it behind closed doors, but you got to know that from a law's point of view, and I've heard you speak, so I know you know a little bit about law. I know you know about the socio-political thing, and you know the importance of nationality. And you should understand the issue that Moors and Israelites have with the word Africans. There's no socio-political power in that whatsoever.
I think that's a very valid point that you make. And what has to be done is you have to be able to speak the people's language in order to bring them in order to take them where they need to go. You know what I mean? If I came in as a typical Moor, I find the Moorish approach is very ineffective. I don't see anybody that puts in the groundbreaking work and research within the Moorish Science Temple of what I've developed and played a part in developing with Amir Rosquad. So in other words, we set our own environment in order to reach and teach the people. And then bringing them in, the ultimate goal is to bring our people into nationality. That's what the ultimate goal is with Amir Rosquad. And it's not like it's a secret. You know what I mean? Our ultimate goal is independence. And the only way you're going to be independent is order you have to have a nationality. You know?
Right.
The right
So because even if I don't agree with everything in the Moorish paradigm in terms of how they deal with the law and everything, but I'm willing to say, just from a social political point of view, that I am a Moor. I think it's more powerful than, I mean, we can still build on the, you know, in terms of the African heritage, but I think socio-politically we got to put some emotions to the side, because even the Israelites will say they're Moors. You know what I'm saying? So I think we got to put some of the emotional stuff aside and look at things in the real world socio-politically, because you can't make no moves as an African. You see what I'm saying? So the scholarship is cool, but at what point do y'all get, and I think this is what the Moors stress a lot, at what point do y'all start operating in the socio-political world, in the commerce world? Yeah, it's fine. Yoruba's fine, and being proud to be African is fine, but at what point does the Amara Squad say, well, how are we operating in the socio-political commercial world, and who are we?
Well, the key in any part of nationality is commerce. You got to make sure your money's right. You know, once you get your money right, then that's when you start to make your own moves. That's when you're able to invest in things like land, which is very key. When you start to be independent as far as your clothing, the food that you produce. As you see, we've started to branch off and start producing our own food, and started to branch off and making our own clothes. And now we want to make sure that we're making the right kind of allies so we can invest in proper land. We want to be able to start, owning land and things like that. So, I'm, the same way that Polight lives in a celebrity conscious world, so it's more than just somebody has to be close enough to Polight to say, yo, instead of, you could have spent less on them hubcaps and bought a goddamn camera, nigga. Somebody got to be able to tell him and be close enough to him for him to use common sense to say, yo, you're killing your own brand by not having proper media rights. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we all negotiate the same way he negotiates in the celebrity world. We negotiate with people like him in order to make sure that he's right and exact. So it's all about relationships.
So this is what I'm saying. Let's just say the president of Ghana said, you know what, I'm setting apart this whole piece of land for my people to come back home. This is, of course, hypothetical. What do we go over there as? Because now we're on the African continent, but now we have a land. Now we have our own nation. Now who are we there? You see what I'm saying? This is the part that I'm saying that I agree with the Moors when they say, if you don't have nationality, and what the Israelites say, you don't have nothing. Because even if you were given the land and you went there, you couldn't just go there as, well, we're just a melanated people, and I mean, you gotta have a nation.
But when it comes down to, like, say you do have that. With a Rush Squad, we have senior advisors. And one of those senior advisors is Professor Smalls. Professor Smalls owns a hotel in Ghana, and he has a relationship with the government of Ghana. So within our realm of him being somebody that respects us and us having him as a senior advisor, again, this is about the relationships of what we had. We have celebrity friends, we have NBA players, we have people who stand up and advocate for us. We have professors in multiple universities that advocate for us. So, we're trying to open up different doors by the relationship that we have right now. But the ultimate end game is something that's my job, to keep things into perspective. Unc's job is to bang. That's all that Unc does. Unc is not made to get along with motherfuckers. He's not designed that way. The Creator has not made Unc to be compromising or diplomatic. That is not Brother Unc. A big part of my job is keeping Unc off of motherfuckers. That's a big part of what I do. His job is to bang. So I keep a lot of things in order, but the end game, to be perfectly frank, is nothing but nationality. So whether somebody that's of the Hebrew Israelite faith would like to come and join us, the door is wide open. Why? Because I'm telling you that it's wide open. And I'm a person that tries to keep the diplomatic, communications open. If your end game is nationality, and you're an Israelite, and you're somebody that I can trust, and you can trust me, then we can work along. But if you're not somebody who gets along with us, our job is just to smash your ass out. It's really as simple as that.
Right. So let me one last question. In the socio-political world, because Hebrew Israelites say, well, it's a nationality before faith. What is more effective right now, being an Israelite or African in the socio-political world?
I would say being able to communicate with Africans is the most important thing, because you have to bring them into the identity of who they are. And if their identity is that of an Israelite and that's your particular faith, then you have to communicate to them as Africans. You have to understand the African culture in order to bring them in, because they've been robbed of who they really are. Even in Africa, they've been robbed of who they really are. And we're of different tribes. We're of different tribes of people. I don't try to impose my Moorish belief on anyone, not even a different squad member. A person that has every right to remain a slave if they want to. But if you want the truth, then you can get it. You can come and see me, and I can bring you into yourself of who and what you really are. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference. I think you have to communicate to them as Africans and understand that once you get them as Africans and meet them where they are, you can say, yo, let me tell you who you really are. And then you open your eyes to what being an Israelite is all about.
Anybody else got something they want to say? I'm kind of, it's going downhill and we about to sign off and stuff. I'm not always privy to, ask certain questions and stuff. So if you want to dialogue and get into it, just, you could ask
Well,
somebody.
let me just end it on saying what my point is. I think the point is, regardless of ideology, I think that we know that socio-politically, which makes more sense, the faith doesn't even matter in the socio-political world. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to the Moorish Israelite type paradigm, it makes way more sense politically. You can be African spiritually and a more politically, or Israelite politically. So I think because of emotions, people are not making the difference between what's socio-political and what's personal spiritual. Politically, I'm a Moor, and to me, that's just almost the same thing as an Israelite. Spiritually, that's me.
I agree with you.
So, spiritually, that's personal. But I mean, when we're talking about liberation, those two distinctions are not being made. That's where part of the argument is coming in. Because people are saying, well, Moors don't want to be black and all, and Israelites ain't. That's not really. It's a mixture between your personal spiritual stuff you do at home with your family, or what you may subscribe to, and what you are socio-politically. We need to make that distinction, and then we can move on.
Hey, I
And that's
think that a lot of the issue here is that most of the dialogue is centered around 20 people that tend to come on the videos the most or belong to prominent groups. And those prominent groups, that would include the Amin Ra Squad as, one of the groups on the scene that been around doing things, is, each individual ones that have a little audience, they need to broaden the circle of conversation as to, like, this thing should be full of voices. We should see over 200 people speaking on videos all over the place, not like one or two particular speakers just revolving around the various talk platforms that we have. And then the community would get more money, more popular, it would grow, everything would grow. But because we're sticking to this like small circle of intellectuals, we're not going anywhere because they're not going to change their position, and we're not going to hear much new information. And I
Right.
And
think
it's
And
everybody who's
that
inputting
is talking
isn't
point.
trying. Huh?
It's
yeah.
talking points and people pushing that others not. Like William Bell, I hear you trying to speak. He has a talking point that basically nobody in the community ever heard of.
Yeah.
right.
Well, it wasn't so much that I want to talk about that talking point, but if you're talking about just weighing on this conversation, if you're talking about a nation, I mean, think about this. Okay, you live in America. America has all kinds of different beliefs. They got people believe in God, people don't believe in God, people believe in all kinds of gods, but it is a nation from that perspective. If you're talking about a nation building, and you're going to limit it down to what people's particular religious beliefs are, I think you're going to be really cutting that off. I mean, of course, that's what Israel was, from my perspective, for a purpose and a reason, but I think the end purpose of Israel was much larger than that. Even if you talked about Israel back under the time that they were, subdued to Rome, they were allowed within the larger Roman Empire to practice their own religion, etc. It was only when they rebelled against Rome that the events turned out the way they did. But the point is, if the dialogue is going to continue, and I think this is what the brother was saying a moment ago when he was distinguishing between one's personal spiritual beliefs and socio-political beliefs, I don't think, if we're talking about a nation, that you want that confined to something as small as our religious beliefs. I mean, if you go back to Garvey's work and many of the others, that was suppressed under the larger picture. So that's just my point of view from just listening to the dialogue that's going on here. And I know that would be excluding a lot of people, and a lot of people probably wouldn't want to be a part of something that was only limited from the perspective of a religious belief, or even one type of belief. Which means.
Can I ask you what was the national perspective you said you was looking at with the nation of Israel, and even dealing with Daniel and the rock hitting the, you know what I'm saying, the spreading of the rock, and
Right.
and
Well,
taking
Carl,
over.
my belief and yours on that is a little bit different. Like I was suggesting before.
I just want to make your
Okay.
perspective.
Well, see, I think from the original perspective, God was dealing with people as individuals. He was dealing with the patriarchs, and then he called Abraham out, and from him and through Moses formed a nation, and that nation was to be a witness to all the other nations. However, moving into the Messianic age, here was God now branching beyond simply the nation of Israel. From that perspective, I believe I'm an Israelite, but I believe that Abraham had two sons, and because of that, that takes me into a different direction than a solely Torah-keeping person, whether you are a black Hebrew Israelite or whether you want to call yourself a European Israelite. So I have a different perspective based on that, and that's different from the dialogue that I'm hearing here.
You're quoting the allegory of you're quoting the allegory of the bond child and the free child and taking it into the spiritual realm that Abraham had spiritual seed.
Well, that's exactly where Abraham took it, from my perspective.
I agree.
That's my perspective too. So I don't see where we
Okay,
differ.
all right.
Right.
Well, and so I'm just saying from that point of view, then nation would be larger than our spiritual view. That's not to say that you can't fully express your spiritual view within the confines of nation.
Right. So
Right.
would you agree the theonomy of the situation that we're looking at is though if the nation of Israel was the light unto the world and they was ruling and everything was set up and other people are being grafted into the nation of able to come into the commonwealth of Israel, then it would turn into the just simplicity of the civil laws of people being a part of the nation of Israel and the civil codes that go with certain things. Would you agree with that?
Not necessarily, because if you read the narrative, my perspective, I don't want to be here debating anybody. Okay, this is not
No,
this
I'm not
format.
debating. I'm just asking your perspective for the people in the
My
audience.
perspective is, if you looked at the two sons, there was a point where he says, "Cast out the bondwoman and her son." That's verse 31.
All right.
I wanted to say
We
this
can have
real
that
quick.
dialogue another time.
Real quick. The point I was making is, without the emotion, pick a name, man. You know what I'm saying? I think the Moorish paradigms covered it all, because even under that empire, you had Israelites and Christians and Muslims and all of that. And we know from an Israelite perspective that the Moors would be Israelites anyway. But the bottom line is, get rid of the emotion if you want a nation build, and pick a name socio-politically. We don't got to argue whether you're African or Israelite. You got to have a nation that's separate from your philosophical and religious beliefs. And this is what I mean by when Pitt Boss was saying why there's not enough voices in the community. I'm a voice that needs to be heard on that point, but it won't be heard on Side. That's why it's good that Israel Doctrine is doing what he's doing, because no one else is saying that. You got to get rid of the emotion and choose. All you got to do is choose. Take one step. You just get a banner. Now you can do what you want as the Armor Ra Squad or whoever else, but you got to have a banner to come up under. So just pick one without the emotion. You see what I'm saying? And I think that most of us can agree on certain words, such as that we all coming out of this same source. You see what I'm saying? So the emotion of what we are based on personal beliefs has to be put aside, and no one's saying that. And this is my problem with the power of someone like Sinetta TV, because he has the power to get rid of all of that crap and come together and say, you know what, let's hold a meeting at a round table, right? Just like when I suggested that they incorporate the conscious community, right? And then make all the other factions sub corporations under the conscious community. Therefore, you have united everyone under one banner, and then you're kind of like the Catholic Church. You have one banner and everyone falls on it, so it gets rid of the arguments because all the finances are being promoted up into to one spot anyway. So now everyone has a vested interest in the same thing, but the conscious community remains something just unword. Now, when I gave that same principle to Ali Muhammad, and he came on the show and he said he incorporated it on paper. Now all you got to do is get a member from each group, represent each group, and put them on a board to represent the interests of each group, and funnel all of the resources and finances to one spot under the banner of the conscious community. Now you have centralized your resources, but no one wants to hear that. I couldn't get the voice on the side of the TV to say that.
People heard that, like you said, Ali Muhammad took it and ran with it and things. The thing is, when you have ideas of this nation, just like the sovereign thing that's going on with the mighty Hebrew, this and that, when you have corrupt people taking this type of power, now you got corrupt power because you got corrupt people in power. So this is when you trying to change paradigms. Even if you go with the national thing, you need a moral and an ethic code, and that's where I just went with the theonomy, and you got to deal with something. So if you say we're gonna take my yacht, or we're gonna come up with some new stuff, or we're gonna take the biblical ethic codes and stuff, you cannot have a nation of people and not have laws, statutes, and commandments to govern the people. So now you got to come down with these type of rules and regulations on how one is gonna govern this government. So
Right.
like the Black City sovereign thing that Reggie's talking about, the Black town revival that Jay Dizzle talking about, it's people having this conversation. You just don't hear it because it's not on the most popular
Right.
platform.
In terms of that, that's why you got to take a.
One second, both of y'all talking at the same time. Ishmael trying to talk.
Well,
I just want to say that sometimes you got to double check information also. Because if you pull up the conscious community online, it's owned by some white women. You know what I mean? Anybody can pull up consciouscommunity.com or whatever conscious community, and it's owned by like three 50, 60-year-old white chicks. You know what I'm saying? So, you can find a banner that you want to unify around, but just make sure, number one, that it's copywritten properly and registered properly, and number two, that it is in the best interest as a cooperative. Yeah. You know what I mean? That it's cooperative, that everybody has a share in it, as opposed to one person wanting to dictate it.
Well, see, one of the mistakes that they're making
I want to ask this quick question. What is it that is common to everybody? What is it that we all have in common?
The socio-political status. That's what we all have in common. Our socio-political status and the way we're treated. That's why I said the talk needs to go from philosophy to more of what the Moors are saying in terms of your socio-political. Once you get that together, then all the other branches come together. But if you don't have any type of socio-political stance in terms of what you are, like for instance, now a lot of people don't believe in politics, but if you just think about just voting, you're not voting as anyone. You see what I'm saying? That's just a black vote, but you don't have a party or social political stance where you can say, well, if we don't get this, we're not supporting that. And in terms of things like the conscious community, that's why I just said pick a name. It don't matter what name, you know what I'm saying? It could be the
Lex, let me just make a comment to you because, I'm Pan-African and that social political perspective versus what we push as a more economic position is this was all done back at that time, and it was like currently, if you have a particular city, like I live in Atlanta, and it's a high population of black people here that can galvanize the vote, and they can get inside there and vote, and you could vote every ideal you want to where you have every idea on the table and it's passed through. But what's going to happen is if you don't have an economic infrastructure that's in power to make moves, then you fall. And if you had no one voting, but all of your citizens were economically empowered, then the vote would not matter. because you
Right. I was just
control.
using that as an example. I'm
No,
not
I
saying
know.
we.
I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
you don't trust me. I'm right there
yeah.
with you. I listen to your show all the time. You always make a lot of sense to me, even though you have a little different perspective, but you make a lot of sense every time you come on, right? So I'm not in against you. I'm just
Right.
saying that the focus to really get any kind of true power, because one of the groups out there that is a shining example of this is the Asian community. They do less voting and they got more control of their economics. And they don't
Right.
care to go for any political offices in order to.
Economics, right? When people talk
Yeah,
about economics and how we gonna get it, but the number one thing you have to do for economics is something called centralization. This is why the Asian community is strong in other communities. That's why the Catholic Church is strong, because they have a mother church that everything's being funneled to. And that's when I was talking about incorporating the conscious community. We have nowhere to funnel everything in one direction. You got the Nation of Islam over here, you got the Christian church over
Right,
there,
but this is
you
what
got the
Pan
Moors over.
African was created for, to be the umbrella, and that's what Garvey was
let
doing,
them
and
finish.
Okay,
that's why he
right.
had all the people
So
struggling to
here's
do that, and that's why Plato looked at political philosophy and tried to use it to galvanize the whole community under the Pan Africanism.
right, but they're only doing it in word. I have no problem with it. And if you're gonna do that, then create an entity, right, called Pan-African Community, and then everyone registers under it, and everyone becomes a card-carrying member of that, and then the resource can be funneled and take and it can be fraternized
Right.
in a way.
That's what you and I A was all about. But I think Ishmael was trying to
No, no,
speak to.
but this is where Lex is right on what he's trying to emphasize. But this is where Pan Africanism is not complete. People are ignoring when Dr. John Henry Clark said, "We are a people without a nationality." You understand? So he just pointed out Africa sounds good. Black is good. It tells you what you look like, but not who you are. So you have to identify what your nationality really is, and it is not African. It is not.
And
John
this,
Henry Clark said that it's not, and he's right in that.
right, but
Because
we
you have to be tied to a specific land, and it has to be tied simultaneously
right,
to land, history, and culture, right?
right. That's what I was
What's that?
just finna ask. Let me ask that because I want you to go deeper into that because what Lex was saying, if one go back to the land, you have to pick a nation to go within, and you will have to nationalize in that nation, right?
Exactly. You have to have a specific location.
Okay, so let me say this. If the most identifiable, but listen, the most identifiable name for people of dark color is African. The most identifiable name.
All right.
Yeah, but
So
that's
what
a
is the
continent
problem when these are
that
just types?
encompasses so many people.
Yeah,
Right.
so if you
So,
group every group that
okay.
identify with that title, that's identifiable. Who cares
All right.
about its etymology or its history in the word when that's the most
That
identifiable word?
because
Let me ask
Now,
you
because
a
it does.
question based on what
say, so,
he just said.
One
Is
second,
there anybody from Africa, from wherever they are in Africa, that considers themselves anything other than an African?
Yes, that's what I was about to say. The thing about African is it's identifying. That's just like saying European, but you cannot. There's so many different cultures and branches from that we have our own unique experience in social political situation. We can say
right.
we're African, but we have to be able to say we're from Ghana or we're from.
So,
So we have to choose something,
But you
and
well,
can't.
let's
we
But
need
well,
to. And
this is what I
the
want to say.
emotion doesn't matter, right?
This
We
is
right.
can
what I
just
want to say.
choose something.
Going
Right.
back.
Well,
that's what I'm
let
saying.
Black speak. Hold up, let Black speak, and then let's jump on that. I hopefully he don't take us off.
What I wanted to speak about was what Mr. Bell said, the things that we have in common, our ecological position, not our.
Now, hold up, because I think that'll take us off. This is what I think we need to focus on right now. The thing would
Right.
be that certain people in America that want to go back to the land and stuff and still have the banner of Pan-Africanness or whatever, everybody would choose a nation within there, go into those nations and work together in different nations to bring the whole together. the whole continent. This goes back to, as I tell people the way I see things, you got to start on the small and then make it larger. So you would go into the different nations and send different people in there to galvanize those people and stuff in those nations, and then bring the whole African continent together. But you still got to identify and come under a national flag and a national identity. I believe that's what people failing to realize. And so you can go to one nation, or you can send people to multiple nations in there and work together from those different nations and have our own United Nations in the sense of
we need to pick.
So
We need to.
hold on. Every attempt to collectivize us over the last 100 years in a major way, there's no group out there stronger than Pan-African ideology being implemented by either, except for Ethiopian Federation. They may have made a major move at one time as well. But you had Gaddafi doing it. He had the United States of Africa. And then you had Garvey doing it with the Pan-African movement. So this is just a title. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't disagree with anybody's intellectual breakdown of etymologies and words and Afrikaners. Okay, we could give you that. But right now, currently, the country is called Africa, or the continent is called Africa. And the people that dwell on it are Africans, and then their individual countries are subsections of that. So if we were trying to just collectivize ourselves to have a cultural and an economic impact, then the most likely name that stands there is African. That's why currently in America we're labeled as African American.
Well,
right.
this is what I was,
go ahead, man.
What I was talking about was the common thing that we have is the type of the things that's provided to us. That's the common ground, and we have to make better provision of what we have. You know, that's the common ground. Like to say that if somebody have right, let me finish. If like the Bible has a great constitution, you know. And then you have people who deals with comedic science have a great scientific facts. So when we start dealing with the human behavior, which of course the government, they look at us and they practice a lot of the human behavior on us, you know, and the way our neighborhoods look, the way our schools are, the way our teachers are, the way the police respond to us. And all that stuff. So that's like a common ground that
Right.
You know what I'm saying. That common ground, right? Have to before we get into ideology. We have to correct our common ground first. You know.
But we're not talking about ideology now. We're talking about nationalism. With that, even when
then y'all keep bringing up Pan-Africanism.
We can talk back and forth right quick. That the fact is, that's why the Israelites, those that do acknowledge it, say that Israel is on the African plain. So even the Israelites that claim that nation within the African plain is choosing Pan-African ideology, those that do that. And then any other person that would want to choose another African nation because they feel that might be their natural gravitational through DNA or whatever, would choose any nation in Africa they want. And you could go there once again under the umbrella of Pan-Africanism, which is a political ideology similar to this, and you use this ideology to deal with the political, social, political, or whatever, political, economic, or whatever different ideologies politically, though, not religious or nothing. So even with that, that's the commonality that we all claim that as black people, we come from the continent of Africa. If we want to go home, because Africa is for Africa.
If you was just
Israel, that's a great point. 1 second, bro, real quick, because I just want to get this. Is very important right now. Here's the I think is the one and only solution. Well, I can't say it like that, but we have to get dual citizenship in an African country. We need to organize and establish we need to, outside of everything, like we need to be able to say I'm Ghanaian. And so now we have a place to go. We have a country that we identified in. I'm talking about social politically. And from there, like Israel was saying, you can build from there, but we need a place to call home, that we can have a citizenship. So we need to organize here and then establish a relationship with an African country that it don't matter what we are, what the DNA are. We're Ghanaians by citizenship. So now we can go there and we have a place to build from and fund to, a relationship that can spread out from here to there. If you want to move there, you can do it. If you want to stay here and send resources there, you can do it. And then when you're there, you can go preach your Israelite doctrine on the streets of Ghana, or or Pan-Africanism, and teach them and spread that knowledge. But we need a place, and this is the type of information that I deal with. We need a place to call home, another home besides here, because we know we're Americans here. But if we're talking Africa, we got to establish a relationship with one country, one first.
Vortex.
Yeah.
We don't have nowhere. We are where we are. We are at home. We can't go.
I'm talking socio-politically, bro. That's that's what you just said, though. That's philosophical in terms of we don't have. But what I'm saying is, it has to be established politically, and it's not hard for us to organize here and reach out to diplomats in Ghana and say, "Yo, we need to establish where we can come home and move there and be citizens." But we ain't making no push like that.
That exists, though.
Nah, not really. It doesn't exist like that. I've heard of things where they have. It's not. What I'm saying, it's not established where I know if I want to get up and go build in Africa, there's a place I know with no problem. I can go over there, get my papers. They say, you're coming home. This is your homeland. This is your country in Africa. That's what I'm saying.
I like to say this too. The only passport that can go more places than any other passport is the American passport. It goes more places than anybody can go.
Right, that's why I said, but that's cool. But I'm talking about for your Pan-African paradigm.
But
I'm not saying. I said that's why I said dual citizenship. Where we have
the Pan-African movement is structured in an economic basis, which is not subject to geographics.
Right.
Economic field.
But
so
brother,
if you could just control one industry, you have a nuclear bomb. Just in that alone.
Right. But brother, the military they have a foundational place called the Pentagon, and so from there, their operations are functioning. It's centralized. Their intelligence and all that. They gather all of that from the Pentagon, and they spread that information to work in the rest of the world. What I'm telling you is, while we're here, we don't want to lose what we have here, because everyone comes here for to reap the benefit. But we have no foundational place to build from to call our own, and that's why politically, why we need to be identified with at least one country in Africa where we can build from and say. And we ain't got to deal with the fact that we get treated like this in America, and we're back home and we can build from there. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying the movement is going to be it's not. That's not the whole movement. It's a key piece. It's a key piece.
Brothers, let me jump in. I think what we need to do, because we've been here since 2 o'clock. So we've been here a while, and we done dropped a lot of information. And a lot of people ain't gonna watch this from the beginning to the end, or they're gonna take a couple days to watch this whole thing. So what we talking about now is we could go and have a show later on tonight or whatever, and we could get a personal bill between y'all two and your two different views, not a debate, but a bill on these type of things, or whoever else would like to be a part of that title and that bill. And everybody can be a little bit more focused on the direction under that subject and that title, because I think this needs to be talked about. And like y'all say, if it ain't too many places to talk about it, I welcome you to come here and talk about it. Yes, I want the views. I'm monitorizing my stuff. If people get crazy because I ain't go inside that on y'all, but hey, this right here is a business. And if you want to support the business, support it. If you don't want to support it, don't support it. But the thing is, we need other platforms, and this is an option. If you don't like the option, then don't come over here and participate in this option. Go find your other option. But I'm gonna be honest to y'all about what I'm doing. I'm not gonna shuck and jive nothing. This is my job now. You know what I'm saying? So when I make my videos and monetize them, I'm trying to make some money on YouTube. And I'm also trying to do some live debates and make money. If y'all got a problem with that, then y'all just got a problem with that. But don't get mad at me and love other platforms. Just know that I'm creating my own platform here too. So, because I see the comments that people making, but I just want to be truthful enough for. So like I said, hopefully y'all, if y'all got time and y'all want to come back later on tonight and stuff, because you know we need a little rest from it, and the audience, you know, need a little rest. So we could take a little rest, and everybody can probably even rewind it an hour or so, think back on what we talking about, and we could have a social political, you know, title, and we talk about the different aspects of it and build on it, not debate or argue or fight, but just to put these ideas that everybody collectively, you know, want to put on the table right now.
Well,
Yeah, that sounds like a plan. If y'all, yeah, that's good. I can make my time. I'm free this evening.
Okay, so would anybody want to suggest a time that's good? A hour from now, 7 o'clock my time, because it's about to be 6. That'll be 8 o'clock Eastern and 5 o'clock Pacific.
Can't you make it a little later, like 9? 'Cause I'm doing a little work. That's all. I'm asking. Just asking.
I say you give it a day, man, and tomorrow that'll be the build.
Okay.
I'm cool with that too.
Yeah, man. But what I want to say, man, excellent show, excellent conversation. I really like the input of everybody. William, especially William, you know, that's a new, fresh voice, and he brings the type of decorum and professionalism that's lacking amongst us, to tell the truth. That's why I always say we need kind of more professional people, because a lot of us, man, we come from the street, and in order to take things to the next level, we kind of got to weed that out of us in these platforms in order for them to broaden, because there's plenty of black people out there, professionals, that we would label them some type of, you know, Brian Gumbles or whatever, but they are the ones that we need to be involved. But they'll see and hear some of the stuff we're doing, and they won't get involved. We have to become better at hiding the nigga. I'm gonna say that, bro, like in public.
Any closing remarks?
I want to thank you, Brother Carl, for having the forum. Black Intelligence is something that I'm going to continue to support, and I want to thank you for inviting me on the show and at least taking the phone call. I greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much, brother, and thank everyone else for sharing and imparting wisdom. I learned a lot, and I want to wish peace and blessings to everybody. I'm Raw Squad up.
All right, peace. It's you know, it's all good. Like I said, you know, I kind of hate we had a misunderstanding, but as men we spoke. So I appreciate you speaking to me like a man and confronting me like a man and allowing me to speak back as a man. So much love.
For sure, all day.
All right, Carl, I appreciate being here. Thanks for the opportunity to share and to meet you guys. Like I said, I'm still learning a lot, so I look forward to being a part of more of these conversations in the future.
Appreciate you coming to and spreading another point of view and letting people know that it's other people watching and what their perspective is of what's going on. I think people will take note of that, and they should if they don't. So.
Hey, well, I'll just say this to you, Carl. I mean, this is Pitt Boss, Fraternal Order of Pan-African on Facebook. Had a great build, enjoyed the show and dialogue with all these brothers. And, you know, if they made it to the end of this long video, thanks for watching the show. With that said, I'm out, Carl.
Okay. Well, love and respect and peace to everybody. You know, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Positive or negative feedback is good. It makes one reflect on what they're doing and not doing right. And, you know, hopefully we'll have a better build tomorrow. I know I got a couple people that I've been talking to, and I'm still trying to, if anybody know how to get in touch with Cleo Mango, holler at me. or holler at him and let him know I'm looking to talk to him. I want to talk to that brother. So with that said, peace.
Peace.